that would just make a whole lot more sense. You know, it's found money.
We are live.
But anyways.
Hello.
We are doing a
Yes.
thing.
Wow.
I thought
yes, we are.
Funny if we were live right now talking
here
about
is my
pizza and
screen.
college kids being high.
This
If that's
is
how
a-
your stream started.
This
That'd
is
be
a
great.
This is a very special version of Bizhawk.
Holy shit! It's 1994.
Hello, Internet.
Well,
I was 12.
We are doing
and I
a
wasn't
thing.
even a thought.
Yeah, you were.
Yes.
Well, your mom had a really bad joke about that. I'm not going to share that.
Sharing screen.
Oh.
There we go.
Baghdad. I'll just leave it at that. So. Anyways,
Holy shit! It's 1994 up in here.
Trademarks of Shiny Entertainment.
I was 12.
Right. The game will start.
Yeah,
and how
you were.
this is going to
Well, your
work
mom had
is
a really
that I
bad
have a
joke about
real-time
that. I'm not going
prompter.
to share that
I haven't
one.
started it yet, but basically there's something called
Baghdad.
autocorrect.
I'll just leave it at
And
that.
I have it set up so that way
Anyways,
every 15 seconds
all
it
characters
shoots, like,
indicate
a
trademarks of
corruption
Shiny
blast.
Entertainment
I have it set
Incorporated.
to 100, which is actually
Yes.
very weak for a Super Nintendo game, but
Okay.
it's weak enough so you notice it, and it does this every 15 seconds. So it's going to add up, and it's going to be very noticeable very quickly.
Gotcha. So, now that you've played pretty much every meaningful variation of Jim, have
What?
you noticed?
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah?
Now
Sorry.
that you've pretty much played almost every meaningful home release of Jim, have you noticed the art
Gotcha.
difference between the
So
Genesis,
now that
Sega
you've
CD,
played
Yes.
pretty much every
Very, very
meaningful
much.
variation
and
of
are you
Jim,
as mad as I am
have you
that
noticed?
the Sega
Hello.
CD version didn't get any of
Now
the
that you've
new
pretty much
art?
played almost every meaningful
Yes.
home release of Jim,
Look
have you
at-
noticed
look at the
the
background,
art
it looks
difference
so much
between the
cooler.
Genesis Sega CD and
The
the Super
Sega CD
Nintendo
version
one?
I could forgive for having the Sega art because
And
well,
are you
Sega
as
gets
mad
Sega, but
as I
cannot
am that
forgive
the
the
Sega
HD
CD version didn't get any of that new art?
Is an interesting thing all in its
I was like, there's
Yeah.
literally no reason.
They, like, redo
Yeah.
everything from scratch.
Yeah.
No, they traced
No.
over everything.
Well, right, but like, the thing is, they didn't take, like, a sprite one that exists right here, and they throw it...
Oh, you know, I mean, the HD version is an interesting thing all on its own, just because they,
Yeah.
like, redrew everything from scratch.
Presumably because they lost some frames or something.
Well, no, but like the thing is, they
Yeah,
didn't
or
take
they're,
like,
like,
a
not
sprite
caring
that
at all.
exists right here,
see, like,
and they
Game
throw
Loft
it
is
in 1080p
best
and
known
call
for,
it a day.
really
Mobile games.
You know, they
They're
did
They're best
that,
known
but
for
once
mobile
some
games. The
animation
one title
doesn't
that I've
line
actually
up,
played the most
you
out
know,
of them
some of
was
the
when I was younger.
some of
They
the
did, like, a
animation is
clone
rough,
of,
presumably
they did a
because they
clone of
lost
Subway
some
Surfers,
frames
but it
or
was
something like
Minions
that.
themed.
But it's an interesting.
So, you know, they
Well, see, like Gameloft is best known for like really not.
released on the DSi,
Yeah.
digital,
Yeah.
like the HD version came later. So I'm wondering if that had anything to do.
Yeah, it probably was based off the
came out.
iPhone version.
I didn't even know
I-
there was an
Oh,
iPhone version. I
goodness.
just remember the DSi.
So you know
There was the DSi one,
I
there was
really
a phone, there was like a fucking version
because
for
it was
almost every
originally
single phone. There's, like,
released
one for,
on the
like,
DSiWare,
I
and then the
forget the name
digital,
of it,
like
but
the
it was
HD
what
version came
Samsung
later.
used to
So I'm
run
wondering
before
if
they went with
that had
Android.
anything to do with
I
when the
actually
HD
didn't know
version
Samsung
came out.
run on Android. Wow,
I didn't even know there was an iPhone version. I
Yeah,
just remember the
apparently they had their
DSi one.
OS. I forgot what
because
the
that's where-
name was. But Jim released on Java, iPhone, Android, and that one. And also apparently Windows Phone.
Yeah, and here's.
I actually didn't know Samsung didn't run on Android. Wow, that's interesting.
Microsoft actually gets some more money off the patents being licensed to Apple and Google for smartphone input than they actually make money off the phones themselves.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and here's a fun little factoid for you. Microsoft actually gets some more money off the patents being licensed to Apple and Google for smartphone input than they actually make money off the phones themselves. Yeah, so they actually just make those phones every once in a while as an example to show other phone manufacturers saying like,
Yeah.
"Hey, we created this thing. This
Anyway,
is how it looks on our
again.
phone. If you
Yeah,
wanted to make your own,
let's
like,
go.
Android
Alright.
derivative,
Let's
you can license
the
this
chaos
from us
begin.
from our patent, and you can have it in your phone." It's basically an advertisement of what they can do if they were to
Alright,
create
the
their own platform
autocorrect is
using it.
live.
So yeah. So, anyways, that's not the reason why I brought you here. Yes, let's go. Let us
Yeah, like I
let
said,
the
it goes off every
corruption
15 seconds. It's
be the
small,
thing.
but it's noticeable.
New Junk City. Okay.
I really can't wait for the colors to detect you just start dying and you just fall through the floor. Our new Junk City especially.
Okay. Ah.
The lighting.
Yes! Look at it. Oh, damn it.
Colossal difference, and it's not in the Sega CD version at all.
Dear. I really can't wait for the colors to detect you just start dying and you just fall through the floor.
Dave Perry or Doug.
Yeah. Our new Junk City especially. What the lighting?
I would just like to
The
say that
lighting!
because Dave Perry
What
apparently
a
now runs
colossal
Vampire,
difference, and it's not in the Sega CD version at all. Like seriously, I don't know. I mean, this is like one of those things that I would love to get like Dave Perry or Doug today pull in a room and say like, what happened? And I don't mean that.
As their streaming service for PlayStation Now or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah.
That was
Right, and actually, it's funny because that streaming service was actually first featured on ScrewAttack before Sony acquired
I can't
and
grab
started
that
using
rope
it as
thingy.
their
The
streaming
collision
service
is
for
gone.
PlayStation Now or whatever the fuck it's called. So
never
yeah,
mind.
that was there's a lot of stuff that ScrewAttack did first that they just did not get their credit for. I actually played the demo of The Witcher 2 on ScrewAttack.com using the Gaikai service. So yeah,
and that's what it looked like was going on there. It's just like
I don't think you're. Wait. There you go. Yeah, I was gonna say like I think you're just not waiting. Like when I first started playing Smash Brothers on the N64, like my biggest flaw was I was not waiting long enough when I was doing double jumps, and that's what it looked like was going on there. It was just like what? Not holding down just long enough. Now this is really interesting watching you play this because the way that you're approaching the game is different from mine, which is interesting. And
it's overpowered.
well, I tend to use the gem whip for most everything and saving the plasma for the boss fights. Because gem whip is... I guess this is being played on normal? Okay. Yeah, like the gem whip is...
There we go.
See if you get it.
Not that that's really gonna help you.
No.
You fell back through the spike floor.
I can't whip. I can't shoot. All I can do is walk.
Okay. You're on the spike floor. Not that that's really gonna help you. Okay. You jump.
Yes.
You have a new mission. Try to beat the level before it gets so corrupted.
Oh. Okay.
Because like I know where you are.
This is essentially become a ticking time bomb.
Game over is gonna look like with this shit.
You have a new mission. You have a new mission. Try to beat the level before it gets so corrupted that you can't,
I can't see.
Because, like, I know where you are. Oh, boy.
Yes.
Wow.
I could duck. I could wait.
Of course it would be that one. Actually, wouldn't it be really funny if you were playing...
You got, like, zero, you can't jump, you can't shoot, you can't whip, right? Wow.
Oh my god, yes. That would be hilarious. That would be awesome.
Of course it would be that one when you would wait.
Earthworm Jim, April April Fool's Edition.
Actually, wouldn't it be really funny if you were playing it on like hard mode and that idle animation goes and that's an instant death?
Well,
You know? How hilarious would that be? That would be Earthworm Jim April Fool's Edition.
I think I'm gonna reset. I think this is this calls for a reset. Okay.
So,
Okay,
this is like there's a speedrunning technique to affect
Well,
RNG for the Dragon Quest game. And they found the most reliable way to manipulate the RNG was to actually set the Famicom on the plate and slowly raise the temperature.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm
So,
gonna,
this is there's a speedrunning technique to affect RNG for the Dragon Quest game on the Famicom. And they found the most reliable way to manipulate the RNG was to actually set the Famicom on a hot plate and slowly raise the temperature.
Yes. Now that you've broadened your gaming horizons and you've played stuff on the Super Nintendo, the Sega Genesis,
Yes.
etc. Have you? I forgot where I was going with this.
Yes. Now, now that you've broadened your gaming horizons and you've played stuff on the Super Nintendo, the Sega Genesis, etc. Have you?
I'm not sure.
I forgot where I was going with this. Never mind. It'll come back to me.
Yeah, mine just.
Yeah. Now, so in your times of playing Jim on Super Nintendo, have you ever noticed any slowdown?
Yeah. There were a couple frames that were cut.
I don't seem to remember any
know
either.
that. Like, the Genesis will have, like, smoother animations, but, like, other than that, the game runs great.
Okay. Because the reason why I was asking is because, even though the Super Nintendo was a more capable system, it did run at a slower clock speed compared to the Sega Genesis.
Like Star Fox?
Yeah.
That's basically just a math coprocessor. That's all it really is. But it was expensive and it was really only used
So you know what Nintendo did later on in the lifespan to correct this?
other games that had higher sprite counts. Like
So you know the Super FX chip that's used in like Star Fox?
they had another math
That's basically just a math coprocessor. That's all it really is. But it was expensive and it was really only used for games that were pushing polygons. For other games that had higher sprite counts, like Super Mario RPG, that were going to run laggy, they had another math coprocessor that was just for sprite work, and it was called the SA1. And this little guy ran at 10 megahertz, whereas the CPU on the Super Nintendo only ran at about 3.5. So these guys have figured out how to write a hack for a ROM to use the SA1 chip on an EverDrive Pro. So now the games can run at full 60 frames per second with zero lag. And the first one they did that with was for Gradius 3. They did one for Mega Man X, which is crazy because Mega Man X was very ambitious, but it was also known for having some lag in some spots. And the first one is like within the first 15 seconds of the training level. And the very first time that I played it and it ran at a full 60, I was like, what the hell just happened? So that's why I was asking. You've played Jim, I've played Jim, but sometimes your memories betray you. You don't remember things the way they were. So that's why I was asking you, do you remember any slowdown? Because we could reach out to a hacker and say, hey, could you look at Victor's SA1 patch program? Do you think you could implement that in Jim? So, yeah. Were you grooving? We're grooving now.
Oh gosh, what's the level of the bonus room when you're
Right. So, are we going to get a copyright ID for this music right
now? I got content ID'd for what the heck, but that was for the Genesis version, not the SNES
No, I didn't. I just, I always just, this and, oh gosh, what's the level of the bonus room when you're in the dark? Turn out the lights? Is that what it is?
That's Maple Leaf Rag, except here's the thing, Maple Leaf Rag is in the public domain, so it's free to use. I think they just didn't have the collision
that was
data.
like one of the reasons why I'm thinking like Who Turned Out the Lights like got cut from the HD version is because that's basically Maple Leaf Rag the entire time.
Okay, so I pulled up the tile information and put it on the screen right there. That's interesting.
I gotta continue.
Wouldn't it be funny if
was it in the public domain by 1994?
That's true Earthworm Jim hard mode, where it's like you gotta continue and you can't use it.
Okay, so I pulled up the tile information and put it on the screen right there. That's interesting. Wouldn't it be funny if the continue just fell right through the floor and it didn't count?
Yeah, that's basically what I've been doing. Save the plasma for Mr. Frost.
Right.
And actually, you know what? It just
yep. Congratulations, you got to continue. Now keep playing so you don't, because you're never going to get to use it.
Inspired evil Mr. Frosty from Clay Fighters. I wonder if that was...
That could have been possible.
Yeah, that's basically what I've been doing. Save the plasma for Mr. Frosty.
There's a hook at the bottom. You can
and actually, you know what? It just occurred to me. Was the fight with Frosty inspired evil Mr. Frosty from Clay Fighters? I wonder if that was.
Oh, something disappeared.
Whoa! What the hell did you just do?
No, I just remember.
I've been playing this game for almost 30 years. I didn't know you could do this.
Before they might take short.
Is that some speedrun strategy you just found out and you just did that? Is that what that is? You know what would be, you know it'd be great if what you know.
Oh.
What?
Oh
my goodness.
Oh fuck.
Okay, hold down the jump button when you're climbing up.
Welcome to the one part of the game where it's actually
I wouldn't call it a glitch, but it's
no.
That Nintendo version, I think the Genesis version also does this.
Okay, hold down the jump button when you're climbing up.
Frame your on solid ground jump.
Oh no. Okay, because there's actually I wouldn't call it a glitch, but it's like kind of like an oversight that at least in the Super Nintendo version, I think the Genesis version also does this. If you hold down the jump button while climbing something, the very first frame you're on solid ground gym will automatically jump.
I'm gonna hit it. Yeah. Damn it.
So
that's where I was before.
Yeah. You know, this is like the one.
Try to jump from the other side and see if you can pull yourself up from there.
Where it is completely dependent on your ability.
Okay.
The damage becomes unavoidable if
yeah.
you don't jump high enough to have the platform loaded above so the spikes fall on that.
Yeah. You know, this is like the one. Let's pretend everything was actually working the way it's supposed to. This is the one part of the game where it is completely dependent on your ability to advance because the damage becomes unavoidable if you don't jump high enough to have the platform loaded above so the spikes fall on that. And I was just like, man, if you're trying to go for 0 damage, you know, this part could actually be like completely like not your fault.
I'm just gonna do like a soft reset.
Okay, so what do we?
I'm thinking I can run one, but after that, no. I think I'm gonna have a save state after.
So what are you gonna do? Stage select, or how you gonna? How do you proceed?
Yeah. I know there's a glitch harvester thing where it's like you're supposed to like save something, but I don't know how to use it. I didn't plan this very well, apparently.
Well, I mean,
that is. Oh, what if the save state gets corrupted?
We've never tried this before.
No.
Oh.
No. I got inspired by a guy who was trying to beat Mario World corrupted, and he did it. He beat Bowser technically, but the
we didn't. So let's be honest. We've never tried this before. And we didn't know that this is what
kinda
was
cut
going
off.
to happen. So, yeah.
And I was like, oh boy. No, my question is, was the person playing this corrupted, was his name Austin Hargrave?
No, his name was...
So, what was this
Peanut Butter Gamer did it for Mario 64. That was a ROM hack.
This individual...
The guy who did it for Mario World, his name was...
and I was like,
Jordan?
oh boy.
Just Jordan.
No, my question is, was the person playing this corrupted, was his name Austin Hargrave? Okay.
Which sounds kind of terrible. Just because Twitter.
Okay. Just Jordan. Anybody that's played Guitar Hero 2 knows what I'm talking about.
Where am I?
No, but that's
Whoa!
I've been going.
Okay, I think the
which sounds
camera
kind of
is
terrible.
stuck.
Just because Twitter's become. Oh
I'm stuck.
my goodness!
Oh my god.
Can you climb?
I can, but like the
You
camera
just
won't
jumped
move.
into an Oblivion gate. My God!
I triggered the boss fight. I somehow clipped to Chuck. I clipped to Chuck. Oh my fucking god.
Can you climb? Oh, you can't.
I can't see.
What? Oh
Where
my
the fuck am I
goodness.
going to load in? Oh, I guess at the Chuck fight. Okay.
Works.
That works. It works. We'll work with it.
In the words of Beautiful Joe, just go for it. And by the way, where's our HD collection of the Earthworm? I mean, goddamn Beautiful Joe games.
I don't know, Capcom.
It works.
And also, Capcom, why is your Japan store the only place
the
where I can
words
buy
of
Amaterasu
Beautiful Joe,
merch?
just go for it.
Yeah, they don't. It's like.
And by the way, Capcom, where's our HD collection of the Earthworm? I mean, goddamn it, Beautiful Joe games.
It actually sold better to a broad audience just by proxy of how stupidly popular the Wii was.
Yeah.
I mean, actually kind of with that.
Yeah, they don't.
Use
Because,
the
like,
controller instead of just the Wiimote.
the
because
release for Okami on the Wii, even though it wasn't the best one, it actually sold better to a broad audience just by proxy of how stupidly popular the Wii was.
For the Wiimote, it has
I actually kind of wish that version let you use the classic controller instead of just the Wiimote, because
Yeah.
the whole celestial brush only works on the premise that you're actually dragging something across the screen, and the mouse, goodness gracious, the pointer for the Wiimote, it has no resistance. It's moving as fast as you can move your arm.
No.
So you can see where the problem is.
I'm wondering if it's because that this is utilizing Mode 7 scaling and rotation.
So outside of some visual defects, Anti-Asteroids doesn't seem to be affected as much.
Everything else is moving.
It is, and I'm wondering if it's because that this is utilizing Mode 7 scaling and rotation.
Because they actually said in development this part was actually a shit ton easier to do.
Because while Jim's moving on a flat plane in a circle, or a half circle, I should say, everything else is moving towards him using scaling.
So that's why I like those
So I'm wondering, huh?
Oop, there's a line.
Because they actually said in development this part was actually a shit ton easier to do than it was on the Genesis. The Sega CD had scaling rotation built into it, but it wasn't as sophisticated.
The map mode cheat, and
So that's why I like those 3D stages in Sonic CD exist, even though they're terrible.
Hello.
Hey.
Chat. Hi Zebra. Hi Crazy Gmail 21.
There's flooded sprite tiles again. Interesting.
Much.
that is interesting and a good point.
I know Vine Sauce, when he corrupted the game, the loading screen was affected.
Okay. Hello, chat. That is, yeah, that is interesting and a good point. Yeah. Yeah.
No, he's the guy who controls the cat and then it sets them on fire.
Puts them all in a swimming pool, takes the ladder out.
Yes. He would be the kind of guy to do that.
Is Evil the cat now in The Sims with that little green gem above his head?
No.
Oh! Puts them all in the swimming pool, takes the ladder out. He would also be the kind of guy to play Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 and then like make a huge jump with no connecting track.
Buggier than this. I said it.
Doubt it. I don't doubt it just because of what the development cycle it was going through.
Yes. Oh, I clipped through the floor.
You overshot the runway. Or the collision detection decided to turn off.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it just because of what the development cycle it was going through. Although it is one of those very rare. What the? I don't know. Oh, you overshot the runway. Or the collision detection decided to turn off at the moment.
Yeah, the N64 one isn't very good.
It isn't, and that's the one that.
Well, it is what it is.
I was gonna be worried if the collision detector.
Yes. Yeah. Now, Jim 3D. Well, it's one of those rare exceptions. What I would actually say, if you're gonna play that game, play the PC version. It isn't, and that's the one that. Okay, fine. Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah, like the N64 version is the one that I grew up playing. You know, I mean, because I just didn't have a PC at the time that could run that stuff. But I remember like the Poltergeist level, that there were some marbles above a coffin that were like above me that I could not get to.
Whoa! Whoa!
Well, they look. Really?
We are truly in. Look at me when I duck.
Your legs are going in places where they should not be.
Oh wow!
I can't move or jump. I can't.
And the floor just disappeared. What?
I can't shoot and whip.
Oh.
So we're effectively back where we were in New Junk City.
Your legs are going in places where they should not be.
The background animation for Evil stopped moving.
Oh my god, he did.
Yeah, look at that. Who's in control?
I can't wait to shoot the whip.
This is true.
So we're effectively back where we were in New Junk City when we were in the. You know, realize
Earthworm Jim creepypasta.
The background animation for Evil stopped moving. Yeah, look at that. Who's in control?
Just him trying to save Princess What's Her Name with like everything that makes sense.
Yeah. But wasn't the gamer's hell.
So just normal Jim.
Jim's nightmare is literally just him trying to save Princess What's Her Name with like everything that makes sense in the universe. Not
how bad it gets.
You know, it's just
and this gives us an opportunity to think.
That's a good order.
No.
You can go ahead and work all the from South Korea if you have incredible VPN. It'll bring back Mixer to replace Twitch.
Wow.
And if you sign promo code,
and this gives us an opportunity to thank our sponsor for this episode, Incredible VPN. Yes, that's right. You can go ahead and work all the one from South Korea if you have incredible VPN. It'll bring back Mixer to replace Twitch. Sign up for it today using our expensive
I don't have the full
yeah,
script here in front of me, but like back on
Mixer,
G1 Game Days,
incredible VPN.
to Game Days for Good, they would read sponsors because they actually did get some from time.
Exactly, yes, and all the
YouTubers and
incredible VPN.
by like VPN companies, they made up their own.
Yeah.
Actually, that was actually a fake commercial. I don't have the full script here in front of me, but like back on G1 Game Days before they rebranded to Game Days for Good, they would read sponsors because they actually did get some from time to time. But with all the YouTubers and Twitch people getting sponsored by like VPN companies, they made up their own. And that was incredible VPN. And one of the lines was "Bring back Mixer," because it was that point where Microsoft closed it because they weren't getting the. Well, I mean, it had stuff that Twitch and YouTube did not, like faster than light linkage, or even, and this was really cool, before he left Microsoft to go be the vice president for Blizzard, Mike Ybarra was streaming on Mixer, and I was like, oh, this is cool. He's playing, I think he was playing like Sea of Thieves or something like that. And I put a link to his Mixer channel on Twitter, and then on his screen it says, Sergeant Harvey on Twitter linked the stream. Thanks a bunch. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of cool technology in Mixer, and they had this thing called Faster Than Light, which actually meant that like anything that happened on stream would have relatively real-time interaction with the chat. So I was really, so I was like, Facebook, so when they said, okay, we bought Mixer, we tried to make it our own platform, it's not working out. So they sold that technology to Facebook, and I was like, why did you do that?
He's trying.
Why are you giving Zuck any help?
He's doing his best.
Like, seriously, I would have rather that stuff gone to Twitch or YouTube or something.
Facebook is so bad that the Russian equivalent of Facebook is a better experience than actual Facebook.
Okay. He's doing his best. He's doing his best, okay?
I was doing the whole Johnny
Yep.
shtick where he would do
you were going to say.
So hot outside, and the whole audience would shout,
how
hot is it?
Hot outside.
Yeah, it's like match game.
Yeah, exactly. It was like,
oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. I gotta apologize. I was doing the whole Johnny Carson shtick where he would do a joke saying, it's so hot outside, and the whole audience would shout, how hot is it? It's so hot outside that I saw a robin. Yeah, exactly. It was like, I saw a robin dunking its worm in iced tea. So anyways, I cut you off with my bad Johnny Carson shtick. What were you saying about Facebook was worse than Facebook?
It's essentially Facebook, but it lets you mind your own damn business.
So it's an antisocial.
So is it like knockoff?
Yes. It's like, don't want location?
Facebook,
cool.
like they have a special version in China. Is that what we're talking about? Okay.
That's something else, I'll tell you what.
I use it to check the VK archive because for whatever reason that's like the biggest
so it's an antisocial
content. It's all
media site.
Gotcha.
So like I go in there to check for like stuff. Like storyboards and shit.
That's something else, I'll tell you what.
Like they translate everything. Like the comic books, they translated them. The games, they figured out how to hack them and then translate them.
Gotcha.
You know, there are some people that are just, that dedicated and can figure that stuff. Their brains just work on a different level.
Oh, also, I just noticed. I have something to note about the person who made the creepypasta comment.
Oh, okay.
So the guy who...
there are some people that are just, that dedicated and can figure that stuff. Their brains just work on a different level.
Is actually working on a Jim creepypasta.
Oh, no.
They just corrupted a bunch of footage. They corrupted a bunch of, like, VHS footage and then, like, intersplice it with, like, a bunch of other audio sources and news articles.
I'm not a fan of Family Guy, and, I just think it's just become,
oh, no.
Anything else, but there was a really great corrupted GIF of Peter throwing up.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Family Guy, but,
love
I
the
just
fucking
think it's just
shitposts for the
become,
creepypastas.
it's just shock humor more than anything else. But there was a really great corrupted GIF of
That's looking
Peter
like a pretty nice Chex
throwing
Mix
up.
in the background.
Yes, it is.
And have you seen it?
I love the mist too. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, and that's really like, okay, so like
Right.
You know parallax scrolling, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how many parallax layers do we have going?
Okay, let me see if I can find it.
1, 2, 3.
Yes, it is.
4. At least that's what it looks like to me. 4 different.
Yeah, and that's really like, okay, so like you know
Plus, Evil the cat's supposed to be dancing
right?
in the background, but he kind of just stopped.
Okay, so how many parallax layers do we have going? We have 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes.
At least that's what it looks like to me. 4 different moving layers of sprites.
Had dedicated hardware for scrolling sprite layers, but for like the NES.
Right, and so I mean, like, in order for them to do that, they have to draw those layers individually and then layer them on top of each other.
Back.
The TurboGrafx 16 and its CD add-on version, the Turbo Duo, actually had dedicated hardware for scrolling sprite layers. But for like the NES, the Super Nintendo, oh no! Well, that was interesting. Oh!
One of the best. Have you ever played Kirby's Adventure?
Oh, it's coming again, you.
I know.
But yeah, no, the TG16 and the Duo had that stuff built into the hardware. Like, they actually had dedicated chips for that. But for like everything else, this is something they had to program in by hand. That's really impressive to me. One of the best examples of that is, if you ever play Kirby's Adventure on the NES, that one, oh my goodness,
I've never heard of this game, despite
it is. This is very special. This is exciting.
Yeah, well, I was like, when I was in Japan, we had to split into a group of 3, and we went to Akihabara for a day. I went with my 3 roommates, who none of them were into video games at all. One of them was like a Jesus girl.
Oh, whoops.
That's even more depressing. The Jesus girl offered to take me to church with her after I told her that I was gay, and she told me that it was a sin.
That's depressing.
So I worked with a guy. I'm not going to name his name because I don't want to say he's a bad person, because he really isn't.
No.
But like when the whole thing with GameStop happened back in 2010, he was actually trying to get me in at an entry-level position at Lockheed Martin. That's what his day was.
So, okay, so I worked with a guy. I'm not going to name his name because I don't want to like say he's a bad person, because he really isn't. But he tried, like when the whole thing with GameStop happened back in 2010, he was actually trying to get me in at an entry-level position at Lockheed Martin. That's what his day job was. How I came to know him was when the GameStop store that I was hired at as an assistant manager in 2003, he walked in and said, "Hey, are you guys hiring?" And he said, "Yeah, okay, I need a part-time. I could do like 3 or 4 days a week." And I'm like, this guy was, at least 10 years older than me, so he was probably in his early 30s, And I was like, "So what do you do for your days?" "Oh, I work for Lockheed Martin as an engineer." And I'm like, "Why are you here?" I'm like, "Well, this is my allowance, so I can buy video games, so that way the wife won't be mad about it." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
No.
That was interesting. So, anyways, it turned out that the lady that hired me was also gay. And I knew something was up, that like one day she was wearing this blouse and I could definitely see that her nipples were pierced. I was like, because I thought she was cute, but like, she's my boss and I shouldn't hit on her. So eventually I found out at some point in time. And then that's when this part-timer he found out, and he's like super Christian.
That's sweet.
And he said, "Hate the sin, but love the sinner." And And that's he said. He never brought it up to her. He was never confrontational with her. He just was trying to be supportive.
Yes. The Jesus girl's
Hate
mother
the sin,
ended up
but love the
carpooling
sinner.
me back to my dad's
So
car,
yeah, so I mean that's he never was that kind of person to, you know, like how like there's those kinds of vegans that have to let you know they're vegan and say that you're an evil person for
even though I would actually like that if I did get to hang out with evil.
So yeah, so that's like, you know, anybody that is of any denominational faith, and you know, like anybody who's like that has to let you know that they are and that you should be them too. Otherwise, you will go to heck and then hang out with Evil the Cat for all eternity. You know, it's just like, hey, could you like really?
So politely, do not impose your beliefs upon me. So that's what I'm gonna say.
Anyway, back to
right. So you know, this is what I say to this, and a polite reminder to everybody that lives in the United States. Freedom of religion also means freedom from religion. So politely, do not impose your beliefs upon me.
Wow,
that's all I'm going to say.
And they had like a bunch of posters that like listed games.
Yes,
like,
yes. Back in Mr. Japan Land,
that's a popular show
where
it's all about like a comedian playing video games and being very bad at them. And one of the things that even had like a picture of the game was Earthworm Jim. They had like a sign that's like, as seen on Gamecenter CX, Earthworm Jim, we have this game. So I was like looking all over the store for it, and I was confused, and my roommates were confused because they were like, "What the hell are you doing?
What the hell aren't you doing?"
So then I asked the guy behind the clerk, "Aswam Jim wa doko desu ka?" Meaning, where is Earthworm Jim? And he looked at me confused. So then I point him to the sign, and he's like, "I have never seen this game before."
Holy crap!
And then like he goes to the manager,
what the hell
and
aren't
the manager
you doing?
is like, "I've never seen this game before either." And I'm like, "You put the poster up." Well, I didn't say that. It was like, "Okay, thank you." And then my roommates were like, "You wasted our time." I'm like, "Sorry, we were in Akihabara.
Holy crap.
We're in the land of video games and porn." Oh, there goes Jim. Oh. Oh dear.
When he's in...
Oh
no! You know, I almost want to see what happens if he shoots his face off.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Yeah.
I also like how the audio is
when
just
he's in.
fucking...
Why did he move? Oh, okay. Oh no. You know, I almost want to see what happens if he shoots his face off.
To my understanding, the Nintendo 64 and the Game Boy Advance didn't have dedicated sound hardware. It was all processed by the CPU.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if that's because the sound was actually processed by a sound chip. To my understanding, the Nintendo 64 and the Game Boy Advance didn't have dedicated sound hardware. It was all processed by the CPU.
No,
so I'm wondering, like, because it has dedicated hardware, that it's not corrupting that.
That's it.
Oh. Well, what kind of platforming?
Yeah, they'll like either like one of I know it was in like What the Heck in the
I haven't noticed any differences presentationally, but maybe we haven't gotten far enough in the game for that.
I think they like added an extra platform somewhere.
Well, you know, it's
like well, what kind of platforming?
Jump City, that they actually took away a platform, so you have to like whip to 2 points, but if you jump off the tire pile high enough, you can actually skip the first whip point and just go to the other one. Like
yeah.
Like,
okay, Jesse Grave in the...
Well, you know, it's kind of like the Sega CD version in New Jump City, that they actually took away a platform, so you have to like whip to 2 points, but if you jump off the tire pile high enough, you can actually skip the first whip point and just go to the regular one like you're supposed to. It was just like, okay, nice try.
I think I'm gonna perform a reset.
We do the reset machine right now.
Yeah, that's reset
yes,
time.
thank you. Thank you for your observation. We were actually
this time I'm going to lessen the intensity. I'm gonna look. Takara wasn't there before. Because Takara distributed the game over there, and Takara
we do the reset machine right now.
The worst case of broken English I've seen.
Goodness gracious.
Okay, so they advertise Jim with an English phrase, like they say all these things about Jim being an American new hero, and then Jim has like a phrase that is printed out. But however, they spelled it horrifically wrong, and now it has a different.
Goodness gracious!
What do you think it is?
I don't know. Can you give me a hint?
It's like, hey, I'm here, or I'm showing up.
I came.
Okay, so
I'm coming.
Okay, I was.
That's what they did. However, they spelled it wrong. They put it in with 2 M's.
I don't know. Can you give me a hint?
I mean, it's not as bad as the UK ads where they were just raunchy for the sake of being raunchy. At least this one was an actual English mistake, so I can.
Okay, I was close.
Versus the UK where it's like, pull out your worm for the birds. Or, you know, there was a fucking ad that all it did was show Jim's butt. And it's like, this is the butt of an earthworm. And they made it super caked up.
The bakery was open, huh?
Yeah, the bakery was open. And apparently
I'd heard the term cake before. I hadn't heard the term bakery until very recently. And it was from the VTuber Shy Lily.
What?
She's
what?
half German, half American.
The bakery was open, huh?
And she was talking like to a female.
I actually had not. I'd heard the term cake before. I hadn't heard the term bakery until very recently. And it was from the VTuber Shy Lily. She's half German, half American, currently living in the Netherlands. And she was talking like to her female audience, like how to put on yoga pants properly. And then she said, you know, so that way your bakery's on full display. And I'm like, okay, she didn't have to explain it, but I knew what it meant. But I'm like, I've never heard this before. That's actually really, really funny.
Yeah. So, it says use the code.
Yeah, Shy Lily on Twitch. Go check her out. She's great.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, you know how things just exist sometimes and you walk.
Like you could interpret it and understand. You know, wait a minute. It says use the crate.
1994 and just whatever.
Anyway. Did it say that in the English version?
For differences and not finding
gosh, you know how things just exist sometimes and you walk by them so much and it just becomes like background noise you just filter out? You know, maybe I just didn't notice that after, you know, 1994 and just whatever. Anyway, maybe it's because I was looking for differences and not finding any, and then I just somehow noticed that now. That's interesting.
You could
Takina
or just said.
Well, I mean, what are you gonna localize with this? You know, other than like, I mean, like, there's probably no equivocal Japanese phrase for groovy because it's already American slang describing something being cool. So they probably could have left that as is.
Yeah, groovy still would have worked, but then there's stuff like use the crate, and also they didn't change the box art at all.
English.
Why nobody bought this game.
Well, like, so you know this because you took Japanese. You know they have no pronunciation for the word L, and they all come off as R's. So groovy still probably would have worked.
I'm like, how did this happen? You know, this is a very Japanese-themed game.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like the same thing that, like, when I see a game like Kendo Rage for the Super Nintendo, and it actually got released in North America under the title Kendo Rage, I'm like, how did this happen? You know, this is a very Japanese-themed game with a very Japanese name, and they didn't change it at all. So I actually have to give SDK huge credit for taking a risk on that, because producing a cartridge game is kind of expensive, you know? And it actually got a sequel for the Super Famicom.
Psycho killed his parents is my favorite, alongside the one of him sleeping in his gun right beside his pillow, is what the Twitch chat is saying. Yeah, there was an ad that was just a slow doodle of with the caption.
I can see how that can work against it.
That's a real ad.
Oh gosh.
And then there's a game that's surprisingly localized really well. It's a game that does not deserve to be localized really fucking well, but they localized it really fucking well for Japan. And as soon as I say the name, you're gonna go, oh no.
Oh boy, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Buckle your seatbelts, because I'm probably about to facepalm really, really hard.
There is a really good goddamn Japanese localization for Bubsy. Bubsy.
That actually hurts my soul to know.
Oh boy, here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Localized him good.
Buckle your seatbelts, because I'm probably about to facepalm really, really hard.
Like a lucky cat.
Okay, that's actually pretty clever. I like that. But
yeah, and they like switched out the voices. They like made references.
That
to,
actually hurts my soul to know that.
Localized him
because
amazing, and my question is why.
Well, you know, when Yacht Club Game.
Okay, that's actually pretty clever. I like that, but
they actually did a really good job on that too. But then again, you know, these people are wait for
but
well, you know, when Yacht Club Games was localizing Shovel Knight, they actually did a really good job on that too. But then again, you know, these people are
and my mom,
way forward
my mom
people.
Gets grossed out. Like I tried showing her like the Yoshi's Island shorts, and then like they show like
right. But I'm just talking about like it's really like interesting to see where people put their efforts in. Like a simple like thing, and you've seen it, you know, in anime where like people like sleep comedically and they have the little bubble coming out of their nose. They
Shovel Knight doing that through his helmet when he's at a campfire. You know, you know, so I mean, like, you know, I mean, I get it. So then you have.
Yeah, so I mean, like they did that. Right. Well, I mean, comedically speaking. So you know, they have Shovel Knight doing that through his helmet when he's at a campfire. You know, when he's asleep. You know, so I mean, like, you know, I mean, I get it. So then you have
Why is there a brain in heck?
I don't know.
Then you have like accolades that are like trying really freaking hard to be a serious third-party publisher, and you know, back in the day, mascot platforming was the genre. Why is there a brain in heck? Did you see that?
I can't. I'll fall off.
So we have enemies loaded in from the wrong level. That's special. Anyways, oh my God, there it is again. You know what? Shoot it. See what happens. See if it actually has. Oh, I thought you were stuck. Never mind. Anyways, bottom line is they were trying to be the new third-party publisher and everything, and Bubsy was supposed to be it. Now history would go on to tell us that Bubsy for the 16-bit consoles plus the Bubsy 3D, which is by Ben Studios, that would actually go on to make Days Gone for the PlayStation 4. That's fun. Yeah, and Siphon Filter. Actually, G1 Sam. There we go. G1 Sam Bam. And if you want to look him up on YouTube, Sam Can Bam. He actually works at Ben Studios, and we were doing so well. We were doing so well. We were doing so. Anyways, you know, they're trying to be the new third-party publisher that was being the shit, and Bubsy was their way in. So it kind of doesn't surprise me they put in that extra effort because they were trying to gain, you know, international recognition. I just think it's kind of funny that the only really good Bubsy games were the ones that Black Forest Studios would go on to do for the PlayStation 4 and the Switch many, 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 many years later. Oh dear.
No, damn it!
Oh, that's bad. That's bad.
Damn it! I was almost a masochist today. Well, more of a masochist than I already am.
Okay.
No, that's bad. It's bad.
Like, my family was like, okay, we're going to 7-Eleven. Do you want anything? I almost asked for gummy worms.
Okay.
Like, I almost asked for gummy worms to eat while doing this, but instead I went with Reese's Pieces.
I understand now.
I went with Reese's Pieces instead because I'm like, do I really want to eat a gummy worm?
I mean, if you're trying to be ironic.
Yeah.
But
like for like several hours straight.
Okay.
I would have gone with Reese's Cups. There's actually a really.
Oh! I understand now. I understand now.
Kenya, formerly Pikami. They were talking about their favorite.
I mean, if you're trying to be ironic.
Kenya lives in Japan.
But you know.
Hershey doesn't have a distributor for Reese's in Japan.
I would have gone with Reese's Cups. There's actually a really
I actually never noticed
funny clip of Kenya, formerly Pikami. They were talking about their favorite foods, and Kenya lives in Japan. And apparently, Hershey doesn't have a distributor for Reese's in Japan. So, like, the only time she ever can get Reese's.
Well, what's your favorite candy like Reese's?
Yeah, so Kenya only can ever get Reese's whenever her father or mother comes to visit. And her father forgot to bring some, and she was just devastated. So, you know, they were talking about, like, well, what's your favorite, candy like Reese's? Like, well, when you get them, it's like, you know, it's like, when my family brings them when they don't forget. Like, what do you mean when they don't forget? Well, you know, Papa came over and he forgot to bring me them in the background. Oh my God. So this VTuber chef actually figured out a way to make their own Reese's at home, and it actually worked out really well.
Did you know that Evil the
So
Cat was
what you do is you go ahead and you make like almost like you're making peanut butter cookies. Is how you start out with the peanut butter itself.
Yes.
And you're basically adding.
See, I've always used. He had a regular damn owner. Well, regular as far as today.
Or the blaster.
Like damn it.
Okay, so wasn't Evil like before wasn't Evil in a comic before he became a Jim character? Okay, that's what I thought.
That he's coming
in.
Well, I mean, that works too.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like you're basically
here. I just never understood why.
Peanut butter, I think
I always stay in the center of the screen, and
basically
you look in the direction that he's coming in.
And then you go ahead and melt whatever semi-sweet chocolate you want, and then put it into like little.
Well, I mean, that works too. But yeah, no, like you're basically like making like peanut butter that like basically can be like, you know, like I think he used cornstarch as a thickener or something like that. Basically, you start out like you're making peanut butter cookies, and then you go ahead and melt whatever semi-sweet chocolate you want, and then put it into like little parchment paper cupcake things to put in the oven, and it turned out perfectly. So that's how that VTuber chef saved VTuber Henya from not getting her favorite candy ever. So now she's making it her own.
Oh, there goes goes the fire.
Whoa!
No! Oh my god. Fuck!
I'm actually looking up Accolade on Wikipedia. It actually says the Bubsy games were commercially successful, which sounds really ridiculous considering how we know how not great those games are.
Oh.
Yeah, because they marketed the shit out of them.
I'm actually looking up Accolade on Wikipedia. It actually says the Bubsy games were commercially successful, which sounds really ridiculous considering how we know how not great those games are.
He played Coconut Bread.
Oh.
Yeah, well, what could possibly go wrong? Yeah, there you go, very good.
Oh no! The background is just gone.
Wait, no, look at the left side of the platform.
Oh my god,
John St. John has gone on record saying he did not enjoy doing the voice of Big the Cat.
Just make the platform look like that.
Yeah. Oh no! It turned into the Genesis version.
Cool. That is what Bob Rossman
calls wait! No! Look at the left side of the platform. The back.
I still have those mints.
The background is on the wrong layer. Oh my gosh.
Oh boy, now it's just done full.
That is what Bob Ross would call a happy accident. I still have my Bob Ross positive energy drink, by the way.
Damn it. You saw me fire, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Whew.
Not that time though. You're not gonna have enough to do that.
Now that's just, oh boy, now it's just gone full
what?
Full Genesis with the background layer being completely gone. Yep. Not that time, though. You're not going to have enough to do that.
That was
seriously,
lucky.
just stay in the center of the screen and just look for him.
No, 2 more.
I thought that was 8.
No, that was 7. That's 8. Yes!
Okay, that worked.
I got him! I'm free! Earthworm Jim was owned by Interplay. Yes, he is! He still is!
I thought that was 8.
2 cease and desists for 2 Play Fighter fan
that's
games.
8.
Oh, you mean owned by Interplay?
Yeah.
Okay, that works.
Wish he wasn't, though.
No, because like there is so. Do you know about Night Dive Studios?
About what dive?
Night Dive Studios.
I didn't. Who are they?
Oh, you mean owned by Interplay?
10 years ago,
yeah, that's
abandonware program, basically making them.
No, I really wish it wasn't either, because like there is so.
Okay.
Do you know about Night Dive Studios?
And then about in 2015, they started doing console games.
Night Dive Studios. Okay, so they started out about 10 years ago acquiring the rights to abandonware programs and basically making them compatible to run on modern platforms. They started out with PC games, and then about in 2015, they started doing console games, starting out with the Turok the Dinosaur Hunter games for the Nintendo 64. They ported them to the Xbox. Oh, well, that was really unfortunate. Goodness. So, that's been their big shtick, saying like, hey, nobody's done anything with this game for a while. Let's acquire the rights to it, make it better, and run it on current systems and, resell it. And they've done that for a bunch of you pulled out a close win on that one. Holy shit. So, yeah, that was. So, they've been doing cool stuff. And then there's been another publisher called Ziggurat Interactive, and they have been doing kind of the same thing, looking around for old abandonware titles and then acquiring the rights to them and then re-releasing them on modern platforms. They took a shareware game that me and my brother used to play a lot on PC called Terminal Velocity, and unfortunate.
He got the world record while having his son in his lap.
Oh my god, I didn't know that was possible! Wow. The things that they can figure out, just like, they understand the principles of one engine, and then they...
Damn it, I forgot to unlock the door.
Mm-hmm.
And my answer to that is, I go just point to a friend of mine that lives in Myrtle.
So, that's when... So, like, there's been a big question for, like, VTubers, like, saying that, like, are you ever going to have kids? And they all say the same thing. It's like, I want kids, but I don't want to give up what I have right now. And my answer to that is, I go just point to a friend of mine that lives in Myrtle Beach. His name is Eric Pollock. And he and his wife had a son, and it was not an uncommon thing to see him streaming with the controller in one hand and the little bitty in the other. Like he and his wife split the duties. So I mean, like you can totally do that. Just rig up a little VTuber baby, and then just have it on camera. It won't be any big deal. But anyway,
yes.
Yeah, that's
so
anyways, Ziggurat, they do the same thing. They do cool stuff. So when I look at something like Jim, this is like one of those things that I know that somebody could do like a top-down remake of this, like what Gameloft tried to do. Exactly, get way forward to do it or something like that. And actually, there was
get the thing away from
Interplay. There was actually a really terrible April Fool's joke that Way Forward did.
They keep trying to bring back the dead, but they don't have the necromancy skills. Their necromancy skills.
So it's one of those things that like have one of those publishers get the rights to it from Interplay. Just get the thing away from Interplay. Just get it away. And then
they are never going to.
Yep, and.
They tried to sell Jim in 2016, but the problem was that it was all in a package.
Exactly.
And
so
it was too expensive.
Literally beating the dead horse.
Did the hamster just fall?
They understand that Jim has a value, but at the same time, they are never going to.
It was like Jim, Programman, Clay Fighter, and then like fucking rock and roll. Racing, and then like a bunch of others.
What was the part of the package?
Nobody really wanted.
Well, what was the package? What the hell was that?
And they were all super expensive.
Oh my god!
Nobody bought them.
Rock and roll racing.
Oh dear.
Oh, that was the hamster. That was the hamster.
Oh goodness.
Hamsty, no.
Holy shit! I did not know that Interplay published Rock and Roll Racing.
Rock and Roll Racing.
Well, so Blizzard, I don't know, a year or two ago at this point.
Oh goodness.
Actually, I have it right here. February 20th, 2021.
Holy shit! I did not know that Interplay published Rock and Roll Racing.
Blizzard did it. That is.
Well, so. Blizzard,
there, apparently.
I don't know, a year or two ago at this point, they, actually, I have it right here, February 20th, 2021, they actually re-released it on, contemporary platforms. Blizzard did it, that is, of Rock and Roll Racing, and Blackthorn, and, Rock and Roll Racing, Blackthorn, and both of the Lost Viking titles. And the thing is, they actually included the ROMs of the Genesis.
I can't get up there.
Was that intentional? Houston, we have okay, so you just fell through the floor there.
We have a very.
Oh boy.
I think I just like accidentally skipped a section.
Mm.
But yeah, I didn't know. Interplay published that back in the day. I guess that kind of makes sense.
Houston, we have a problem.
Collection has both versions of Blackthorn, both versions of the
Interesting.
22, and both versions of Rock and Roll Racing.
But yeah, I didn't know that fracking Interplay published that back in the day. I guess that kind of makes sense. But anyways, yeah, the Blizzard collection has both versions of Blackthorn, both versions of the Lost Vikings 1 and 2, and both versions of Rock and Roll Racing.
So
I guess those. So I think at some point the rights to those games reverted back to Blizzard, or they bought them or something. Okay, that worked unexpectedly.
I guess this works.
Houston. No.
Okay, then.
Oh God.
Oh fuck.
This is not good.
Don't tell me the collision is invisible and also.
Oh gosh.
This is the part where I fell through.
Bad.
Dangerous. No.
This is not good. This is bad.
Boom. Pay no attention to that sprite tile behind the curtain.
No. Don't pay attention.
Bad. Dangerous.
What the fuck is that?
This is very not usual.
Oh, no kidding.
Boom!
What is that?
Pay no attention to that sprite tile behind the curtain.
That? Oh gosh. Oh fuck.
Oh shit.
This is very not usual.
Guy in the chat says, I want Sega to buy Jim's IP. Not gonna lie, a Sonic and Jim crossover would be fucking insane. What?
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
Trying to jump, but it looks like there's like a.
Oh shit. Oh fuck. Oh shit. Oh fuck.
Okay. Whoops.
I can jump.
Oh.
I was just not moving and he was doing that.
Yeah, you say that, but you.
Here's the thing. Do you really want?
Trying to jump, but it looks like there's like a collision directly above them, and so not allowing him to complete the end. Okay. Whoops.
Do you really want the Sega of today?
Oh.
No. Bayonetta. Look what they did to Bayonetta. They gave it to
So to the person in the chat that said that Sega should buy them, well, here's the thing. Do you really want the Sega of today? Do you really want the Sega of today that can't make a good Sonic game? And, yeah, exactly.
Stopped moving.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah. Right, so they sub-licensed their own game, so it's very interesting that Bayonetta is more of a Nintendo franchise than a Sega franchise at this point.
He stopped moving.
And it's kind of funny. Earthworm Joe.
It's like the fucking sad background.
What the hell?
No, not that one. The one where it was like.
Look at Jim. Look at Jim. It's like Earthworm Jim is sick of your shit. That's what that's going on right there. Oh, okay.
That music's from the YouTube audio library. I just don't know which track it is.
Yeah.
Sega of today.
No. I mean, they bought.
Oh.
They bought Rovio.
Yeah.
Yeah. That music's from the YouTube audio library. I just don't know which track it is. But anyways, do you really want the Sega of today to make an Earthworm Jim game?
We're Sonic Mania.
Yeah, yeah, that was real smart. I was like, Rovio, who's those guys? I had to think about it for a second. Anyways, here's the thing. The best Sonic the Hedgehog game that have come out since like Adventure 2 was originally a fan project that turned into a retail product. So, unless if we're going to have something like that happen, probably not. So we're probably not going to get that.
Like,
and here's the thing. I want Jim to come back, but I'm also the same person that said way back in 2015, I would rather have Star Wars than no Star Wars. And we ended up getting 3 really not good feature-length sequels and 2 spin-off movies that were... and they were really, really very not good.
They're still doing that. They're still doing that with like Marvel. Now they're just doing it with like Disney Plus, and nobody's watching it because it's Disney Plus.
Really not okay of her, but you know, like, and I just think it's really funny because there's parallels to where I'm going with this. So Disney kicked those 5 movies out the door in like no time at all, but the best
is the stuff that is on Disney Plus that are being made by fans that grew up with it.
Yes, that's a part of the problem. But where I'm going with this is, I think there's a big twinge of irony that the best stuff that has come out of Disney buying Star Wars is the stuff that is on Disney Plus that are being made by the fans that grew up with it. You have The Mandalorian, you have the Book of Boba Fett, you have Ahsoka, and then we've got a Skeleton Crew that's coming up real soon. You know what? Those are all tremendous, and those are all excellent, and they have every bit of a production quality as a motion picture. But they're not being directed by J.J. Abrams. They're not being directed by Rian Johnson. They're not being produced by Kathleen Kennedy. No, it's being done by Dave Filoni.
That's like,
and who was the guy that directed the first 2 Iron Man movies?
Cinematic elements for realism.
Yes, John Favreau. He was the director and producer for the first couple of episodes of The Mandalorian.
Farther away from the camera is realism.
Well, I mean, you can't win them all.
How is that realistic?
So I'm looking at this right here. Iron Man 2, co-credit Avengers, co-credit Iron Man 3, co-credit.
Right. Okay, yeah, I'm looking at.
Like right here.
So I'm looking at this right here.
Endgame.
Iron Man 2, co-credit Avengers, co-credit Iron Man 3, co-credit H. Okay, so anyways, what I'm looking like right here, so after Avengers Endgame, Robert Downey Jr. had a movie, another remake of oh god, who's the guy? Dr. Dolittle?
Yeah,
it wasn't very good.
The live-action Pinocchio.
You know, but I'm pretty sure that RDJ just did not willingly go from being the most well-recognized and paid person in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to go ahead and do Dr. Dolittle. I'm pretty sure that was a contractually obligated film that he had to do.
That's what I'm guessing this way. You know, like these are the people that grew up.
Exactly. So I'm pretty sure Favreau got roped into directing The Lion King on the condition that he got to do The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, you know, the live-action Star Wars stuff that's on Disney+. That's what I'm guessing this way. But, you know, like, these are the people that grew up with Star Wars that understand Star Wars better than the people that did the stuff. Yeah. Right, yeah. Right, so, you know, that's why I'm just like, you know, like, Favreau also did writing on the Clone Wars animated series along with the Rebels animated series, of which the premises of those story arcs are being concluded in the live-action shows. So, you know, it's just, that's where we're going to have to go with Jim. Unless it's like Dave Perry or some upstart, you know, crew that has a working prototype that will woo Sega into saying, yeah, let's go ahead and hire those guys and make a final product. I don't think that's happening. I really think what happened with Sonic Mania was lightning in a bottle, and I don't think we're going to get it again.
I'm not pulling your legs. The animation reels and concepts are still up on YouTube.
This is the first about it. I'll have to look at that because the real kick in the pants about all this is that the last time that I was aware that a retail product was being worked on was in like 2006, 2007 for the PSP.
Yeah, that got canned because Atari was having
This is the first thing about it. I'll have to look at that because the real kick in the pants. about all this is
Alright,
that
let's get
the
into the
last
fray.
time that I was aware that a retail product for Jim was being worked on was in like 2006, 2007 for the PSP.
For platformers. And
Like,
yeah, I get
look
it,
at
it's
how
in
you control
widescreen,
that
that's
thing.
cool,
Right, but you know, it's kind of good that it did because if it was on the
This song is basically in my heartbeat.
well,
right?
it's like you know, the PSP is not
I was going
a
to say
good
in my blood,
platform
but
for
my
platformers.
blood started to pulsate.
And yeah, I get it, it's in widescreen, that's cool, but like no, just no. Just no, 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 no. Right? Well, I mean, the worst things could happen.
Sound effects burned into my memory forever.
Holy shit, that was clean.
Wachang!
Best single segment.
Sound effects burned into my memory forever.
I'm thinking maybe Bandai Namco could work for Jim, as they did a really good job remastering Klonoa, Pac-Man, and Katamari.
Well, that's because they own all of them.
Best single
I
segment
know.
boss rush.
Real possibility that
Right
some
here.
of those people from those games were still at Namco. You know, and you know, the thing about Klonoa, not emulated release, they actually ported that game to contemporary systems.
Well, that's because they own all of those. So there's actually a real possibility that some of those people from those games were still at Namco. You know, and you know the thing about Klonoa, not emulated release, they actually ported that game to contemporary systems. That surprised the ever-loving shit out of me because some of the screenshots that were posted for it online looked like they were the original PlayStation geometry blown up to like 4K.
You would be
And
shitting
no, that was
shit.
just a really poor capture. They actually ported that damn game, and I was like, that is amazing because Klonoa was. It got a lot of heat at the time of its release, and so did its sequel, because at that point in time, if your game wasn't in 3D, you were considered. Right, and that was, you know, and history would tell us that's bullshit. But you know, the real kicker is that they went ahead and used 3D polygons on a 2D plane. I don't know why, but back in the day we called that 2D Hydra. I don't know why, but yeah, Klonoa was really something special. And so was its sequel, and I'm glad they got a chance to remaster that. The Pac-Man world, though, I never would have expected they would have ever wanted to go back to 3D Pac-Man games, but you know they're good in their own right, man. So that's cool. But they just like, if somebody at Interplay actually like this would have to be like playing
Here's
the
the
long
problem.
game, kind of like what
Interplay's
Fabaru had to
not
do.
making jack.
That you started
How
out
are they in business?
at Interplay
Like,
working
stock
on
is
something
set
else.
at 0,
You work on it for like 3 or
Google
4
stock
years. You release the
analysis.
commercial product. It's successful, and then all of a sudden you have management's ear saying, "I want to make a new Earthworm Jim game." Is anybody? And is
And even
right,
then,
and
those
that's the thing.
versions still aren't compatible.
Right. Well, I mean, it varies. I mean, there were some of the games that
Right. Well, I mean, basically what they have done is taking their stuff to like websites like Good Old Games and let them make it compatible for modern platforms.
You know, I mean, the GOG engineers understand how to make it work.
Right. Well, I mean, it varies. I mean, there were some of the games that like Steam, for example, it had Fallout 1 and Fallout 2, but Fallout Tactics was not compatible for like Windows 7. You know, it only ran on Windows XP. But the GOG version worked on Windows 7.
No.
You know, I mean, the GOG
I
engineers
wanna do that, but
understand
then
how to
I
make
would
it work.
have
But
to risk
anyways,
a lot
Is anybody really willing to do that big of a career risk to go ahead and try to make something for Interplay to put them back on the map just so they could get the opportunity to work with the Earthworm Jim intellectual property? I don't think anybody wants to do that, you know?
Just so they can get it away from them.
Yeah, exactly. So I really don't think, you know, anybody's really going to be able to do that, which is all the more reason why somebody just needs to play the long game in a different way and just buy the IP with whatever baggage that needs to come along with it, just so they can get it away from them. You know, like Epic.
Now they have a majority stakeholder by the Chinese technology
Tencent.
Tencent.
Same thing with Ubisoft and Activision Blizzard. Tencent has a lot of stakes and things you didn't even know about.
Exactly, exactly. And you know, it's kind of like the same thing with like Epic. You know, they used to be an independent company. Now they have a majority stakeholder
Correct.
by the Chinese technology company Tencent. And
and they get half of everything that they make. They can't say
right, and that really like makes me upset because I have very strong feelings about the anti-human rights stance of the Chinese government. And then people say, well, it's not run by the government, it's a communist country, and they get half of everything that they make. Right? So you can't say that, you know, there aren't going to be, you know, them being indirectly responsible for human rights violations. So where I'm going with this is that like the Finnish game company Remedy has had a couple of publishing game deals with Epic to get on the Epic Game Store. This is one of those things. All right. So what the concern is that has not
one of the
long-standing contract with any game publisher since the original Alan Wake that ended with Microsoft in 2012, I want to say. The last thing I want to have happen is them feel that they are not financially stable enough to exist, that they willingly get acquired by Epic because of their previous publishing deals.
Are typically harder in their initial release, and then they get toned
down
for the Western.
Oh, that's kind of weak. So okay, that's something interesting. Like Japanese, like I'm painting with an extremely broad brush here. So don't say I'm just doing this deliberately, but like most Japanese games are typically harder in their initial release, and then they get toned down for the Western release in some capacity, or they get refined so the experience is better. Like Final Fantasy VII Dirge of Cerberus more or less plays like Devil May Cry. Right, so they originally like go ahead and say like, okay, this is not going to work. We have to make this work for a Western audience. So you have something that was already hard out of the gate, but they wussed it down for the Japanese audience. That just seems a little weird. I don't know. But yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, you know, Microsoft has been acquiring studios, and I'm like, could you just please, like, buy, like, Remedy so that way they don't get eaten up by Epic and then be 10-cent employees for the rest of their life? You know?
Also,
just
hello to the
get Jim
gamers
away from
who just joined the chat
God damn it.
send waving emojis.
They put a continuum mark here?
Salutations, konnichiwa, konbanwa. I don't know what time zone you are, wa.
Eastern Standard Time.
I mean, I know what time zone we are in, but I don't know the user.
Well, they're the watching us, so that means they're watching our times.
Salutations.
I don't care if you live in California.
Eastern Standard Time.
I had the corruption before. Cool.
Yes. Well, they're watching us, so that means that they're watching our times. So therefore,
okay,
I'm 31. I don't care if you live in California.
Damn it.
Hey.
Pays for forces.
You are absolutely correct.
Excellent.
Did you know that today is
the
what year? 28th Today is the 28th
You are absolutely correct.
anniversary of the Earthworm Jim cartoon.
Oh,
And KidsWB. KidsWB officially debuted 9/9/1995. Fuck!
So it was basically Dreamcast Day before Dreamcast Day.
Dreamcast Day before Dreamcast Day, yes.
So, can I talk about the Dreamcast for a moment?
Oh,
Yes.
I did not know that.
Okay, so the guy who was running Sega of America at that point in time was a gentleman named Peter Moore. And
so it was basically Dreamcast Day before Dreamcast Day.
Be a monstrous success.
So, can I talk about the Dreamcast for a moment?
Because the Sega Saturn wasn't very good.
Okay, so the guy who was running Sega of America at that point in time was a gentleman named Peter Moore. And the Dreamcast was his absolute baby. Like, he wanted to make that thing be a monstrous success for the North American market, and that's where, you know...
The Dreamcast to be a success in North America.
Correct. The Saturn did well in Japan, but it totally bombed in North America. And that was kind of what set Sega into a spiral downward, out of control, so leading to them exiting the hardware business and just being a third-party publisher. But Peter really was busting his ass to get the Dreamcast to be a success in North America, and it really did have a very good 2 years, and then the PlayStation 2 came along and fucked everything up. So he exited Sega as an employee and then started working for Microsoft and then found his way into the Xbox division. And one of the first things that he did was to bring Shenmue to North America, because it got released in Europe before the Dreamcast folded, but it was only in Japanese.
So that was pretty big.
So it had English subtitles, but it never made it to North America. So one of the first things that he did, he got Sega to go ahead and port Shenmue 2 to the original Xbox and then have a DVD that had all the cutscenes from the first game in there, so that way you could understand what was going on if you didn't play the first game. So that was pretty big. And then Peter did a couple more years at Xbox, and he left in like 2007, 2008. It was 2008. And he did this because, not that he wasn't doing good at Xbox, he absolutely was. He wanted to move back to the San Francisco Bay Area to be with his family. And I totally get that. The only unfortunate thing is the only job that he could take that was in the Bay Area was being the head of Electronic Arts. And yeah, that was not fun, because remember, EA was voted the worst company in North America a couple of years ago, and that was when he was still in charge. So he felt very slighted by that, and I get it. You know, that's a rough thing to say. But anyways, at the 2009, and Peter was at every GameStop Managers Conference from 2006 till, you know, he left Electronic Arts until whatever. But at the 2009 GameStop Managers Conference, he was there to talk about the fourth quarter offerings that they were going to have for that year, which included Brutal Legend, which included Beatles Rock Band, you know, the latest versions of Madden, and blah, 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 blah. But when he got out on stage during the product demonstration, before he said anything else, he grabbed the microphone and said, "It's 999. Let's give it up for the Dreamcast." Like, yeah, but that was like, seriously, like, before anything got started, before he said anything about Electronic Arts, he said, "It's 999. Let's give it up for the Dreamcast." That man, yeah, seriously. Peter Moore is right up there with Reggie Fils-Aimé as being like one of the nicest guys in the business. Maybe too nice to be in the business, but, you know, like, that, he didn't forget where he came from, you know, and that was really, really cool. And years later on Twitter, he would be talking about that, and I said, like, "Hey, I worked for GameStop back in 2009. I remember when you did this." And he was like, "Dude, that means so much to me that you even remember that." Yeah, because 5,000 of us in that auditorium, so, you know, that was a pretty close gathering to see something like that happen. So, Peter Moore.
You'll be stuck in a running animation. I think it's because you're in motion when you enter the bubble, and it's like a brief period of ground.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think I've ever actually seen that happen before, but, you know, now that you pointed it out, huh?
I think it's pretty funny, though.
I think it is pretty funny. I think
like,
that is high comedy.
They could make it like a gag where it's like it's being powered by a fucking treadmill.
Oh.
You know what? I could actually see them doing that. That's actually really funny. That's really funny.
I think it is pretty funny.
Yippee!
I think that is high comedy.
Yes! Level beaten.
Oh, you know what? I could actually see them doing that.
No, he's in the next part.
That's actually really funny. That's really funny.
Like, do we kill
Actually,
Bob?
really funny.
Bob's dead, my friend.
Yippee! Kanye mother buzzard!
Here's the part where we start to cry.
This part.
Where's Bob?
I don't blame you.
Okay.
And you know, it's
I was like, did we kill Bob? Bob's dead, my friend. Groovy. Excuse me. This part terrified me as a child, and if it wasn't, and you know, it's really funny to like look back and like say like, you know, having a video game scare you. That like some people just get so caught up in the moment that they just don't think about anything else. And I really don't have that. Like, I really haven't had that problem since Resident Evil, the remake of Resident Evil 1 on the GameCube back in like 2002.
Nope, that's not
that was
enough.
really the
It's
last time
never
that a
enough.
video game scared me. Okay, there's the Switch. I thought the Switch was up there. But you know what? This part, as a
It's
kid,
what?
you know, like looking at your timer saying you had 99 seconds of Kelpaline, and like that's not enough.
In this level.
Yeah, and that's actually
No,
what this is. It's not air that you're getting filled up. It's Kelpaline. That's what the Super Nintendo article called it.
What does Kelpaline do? I don't know.
Kelp, like sea kelp.
I'm gonna type it in here.
But what? The cow! The cow is not supposed to be in this level.
I've never heard of this.
But yeah, it was. It's not air that it's getting filled with. It's Kelpaline.
You know, they called it Kelpaline for some reason. Of course,
It's something that you can breathe. I'm going to type it in here. Earthworm Jim Kelpaline.
Oh God.
Oh.
Do you see any of my work in there? Because I've had.
I mean, it's just supposed to be
sometimes
air,
people
but you know
who
they
work
called
for
it
Jim, but they
Kelpaline
find
for
my
some
work.
reason.
No, nothing bad.
Of course, it's not showing anything from this, but other than just Jim with some really weird artwork. Okay, whatever.
That was super duper special.
But yeah, they called it Kelpaline. No, nothing bad.
Okay, nope, that's not the part where you enter. That's not the part where you enter.
But yeah, no, that was super duper special.
Yeah, right there.
And by special I mean crazy, and by crazy I mean nuts.
But yeah, no, this is the last, like, you know, I genuinely terrified.
But
When I go watch someone play like a horror game and they get really freaked out, and I'm like, dude, you're so up in the moment. That's cool.
It's low. Yeah, right there. The lights.
I'm like trying to figure out how they did this.
But yeah, no, this is the last, like, you know, I'm genuinely terrified by this. Which is why it's always making me laugh when I go watch somebody play like a horror game and they get really freaked out, and I'm like, dude, you're so up in the moment. That's cool that you can actually enjoy that. Like I can't watch horror movies anymore and be scared. I'm like trying to figure out how they did the special effects to make somebody look like they got torn in half, you know? I'm trying to like, yeah, you know, that's what your mom like would get so nasty about it. Like she would be like freaking out with her knees up by her chin, and I'd be just like, you know, with my hand stroking my chin, trying to figure out how they did it. You know?
He's dead.
So you know that was fun. Yeah, you did it.
Yes.
All right. There's two continues. In case if you missed the first one
Sashimi.
somehow. But yeah, no, the yes, it is fire.
No, it's sashimi. It's not sashimi.
There you go.
Sha
He
is
dead.
with the
He
letter.
died. I really like the Mortal Kombat
No,
2 fatality for the sequel. That was pretty great. Yep. Sashimi. Yep. Sashimi or sashimi? Sha is not a letter.
Alright, the
Gotcha.
tat is saying Jim's just vibing, and the creepiest level for me is Evil the cat in the HD version. Jim legit screams bloody murder when Evil hits him.
I don't remember that.
I think this person is talking about his voice actor just going absolutely ballistic, like ah!
Yeah, okay, that I can understand, yes.
Oh my god, did I ever tell you my experience playing the DSi version?
I don't remember that.
You had a DSi, so I'm presuming you emulated it?
Actually, I hacked it onto my regular 3DS.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that I could understand.
I ended up like finding the Japanese DSi version because I was curious what they did, and the translation is so fucking shit that they didn't even translate start.
I didn't know you had a DSi, so I'm presuming you emulated it?
Well, we gotta remember who was the publisher.
Yep.
Oh, that works too.
Okay, the stream just...
What?
The picture quality's going to shit on my end.
Oh no.
Okay, it's kind of fixed itself. I couldn't tell.
Well, we gotta remember who was the publisher. Your best... Oh! Okay, the stream just...
Imagine falling through the floor and like, yep, that's just a typical Discord buffer.
The picture quality's going to shit on my end. Okay, it's kind of fixed itself. I couldn't tell if that was a corruption or if the stream was going bad. That was interesting.
Hey! I always liked how it sounded better in this one.
Yeah!
Than it did on the Genesis or the HD or the Sega CD version. You know, the voice... His voice was used for this one, but I always thought this sounded better.
Hey!
What the?
I always liked how it sounded better in this one than it did on the Genesis or the HD or the
we're stuck.
or the Sega CD version. You know, the voice. His voice was used for this one, but I always thought this sounded better.
What do we do?
Cap the fool!
It's not usual. This is not
like
usual.
What do we do? He's just floating there. He's like, hey, you left me on the special effects team. Can I get down?
Cap the
They
fool!
just called a lunch break.
Yeah.
They just called a lunch break and they're stuck on the ceiling. Oh! I don't think the music's supposed to do that.
No. Hey!
Yeah. Oh, oh. No.
So, what do we do?
Hey!
Scream and hide.
We could try to die.
Yeah, see what happens. Oh, well, the collision detection still works. Oh! Okay. Well,
We fixed it! Oh, dear God.
Scream and hide.
That was very high contrast.
Don't just...
Yeah, see what happens.
I'll just tell you what not to
Oh,
look.
well, the collision detection still works.
No,
Don't look.
Oh! Okay, well, that's
oh, you almost got him.
oh,
This is round.
that actually hurt my eyes. That was very high contrast.
Hard.
Yeah, because you had it set to hard. You had hard game on hard.
No, it's fine. No! Oh, you almost got him. Like, this on hard was, like, so unbelievably hard.
Yeah, well, I need to get like the audio of that.
It's an audio sample from Terminator.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was like sampled from a shootout scene.
Okay. What? It was an audio sample from Terminator the game or the movie?
The movie.
Yeah, well, I need to get like the audio
What the
of that from the ROM.
Whoa! Whoa! What the fuck?
Are you serious? Okay. Wait. It was an audio sample from Terminator the game or the movie?
I didn't do anything.
You crossed over into
Really? So they used it in the.
That's not level 5.
What?
music.
What?
The music is level 5, but look at what we are seeing. That is not level 5. What the fuck is that?
Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm not
we
moving
are.
anything. The game is doing that.
You crossed over into level 5.
Oh my god. How did we get
The
to
music.
level 5?
Listen.
I don't know. That is so weird.
No, it is level 5. Go back up.
You can like run around and like find like warp zones. You know, maybe that's what happened.
Okay. If it goes back up, look, you can see the sprite for the elevator tile.
It's not a problem.
They are in level 5. I don't know. That is so weird.
The any percent category is dead because
You know, the Battletoads, you can like run around and like find like warp zones. You know, maybe that's what happened here. You know,
I'm
you
not
just
even
warp
pressing
zone,
any
you know?
buttons. The game is just doing that. I'm scared to
Yeah,
press
well, wouldn't that be something to
anything.
skip that level legitimately? The any percent category is dead because we are skipping.
I can pause
Not a
it.
problem. Every single time.
You ever go ahead and listen to the original, like how level 5 sounded?
Press the magic button.
Down the tubes on the Genesis.
Yeah.
But I don't think that level of music was really.
I really like.
Considering what was going
I really like.
Mm-hmm.
But you ever go ahead and listen to listen to the original, like how level 5 sounded? Well, I mean, it was used as down the tubes on the Genesis, but I don't think that level of music was really appropriate considering what was going on. But you know, like. I actually think the Super Nintendo version arrangement is better than it is on the Sega CD, because there are certain sound effects that are drowned out in comparison, that aren't as pronounced as they are here. Like the guitar part that you're hearing right now is nowhere as loud as it is on the CD version. The other samples are taking over, and I'm like, really?
Unless if you want to restart again.
Yep.
That was really something else.
Good thing this is all recorded.
Yeah, seriously.
I actually cry mostly.
This is so funny.
Unless if you want to restart again. But that was really something else.
It's like those people.
Yeah, seriously. You're welcome, Internet. Look what you made us do.
Sinnoh remakes. Yeah. And then they actually did that, and then the Sinnoh remakes were terrible.
Yeah.
Yes.
Again, you know, like
you'll leave this stream running until Interplay sells Jim to someone who cares.
That was the stupidest fucking thing I could have said. But you know, at least we got The Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
It's that glitches. Why, yes, it is Maximo.
Yeah, again, you know, like, don't be careful what you wish for. You know, like, I would rather have Star Wars than no Star Wars. That was the stupidest fucking thing I could have said.
There you go.
But, you know, at least we got The Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka.
And now we're done for.
Caught an infinite loop.
Yep. Glitches for the bitches that got the itches that they can't scratch.
Like, if you actually manage to get to level 5.
There you go. They got sunburn.
Well, I mean, you got your answer technically. This is level 5.
Caught an infinite loop. Actually, I was kind of like interested to see how, like, if you actually managed to get to level 5 to see if it would stay together long enough. Like, what happens when we get to the
yeah, I think this is gonna call for a reset.
Right, but like the parts were being carried around in the crane, and then the chicken fight, and then the falling fight with the chicken.
Ooh, I hit So
you know, it's just like, yo, what will happen?
Yes, I did.
Now, before you say it, does anybody in the chat know what we're talking about?
Yep.
I mean, I
If you
hope
do,
so.
you'll get a gold star and a cookie from me at MagFest.
Why you gotta be so hard?
It's gonna be extremely funny if we're both talking about.
Thank you. You knew
things.
exactly what I was talking about.
Sure.
Now, before you say it, does anybody in the chat know what we're talking about?
Pretty effing sure.
If you do, you'll get a gold star and a cookie from me at MagFest.
You know what the hell we're talking about, and then we'll say it on three, okay?
I'm pretty sure we're talking about the same thing. I'm pretty effing sure. I'm gonna give the chat 40 seconds to see if they know what the hell we're talking about, and then we'll say it on three, okay?
I hope you do.
Okay, you ready? On three.
Ready. One, two, three.
Yes.
Osmosis Jones. Hey!
All right. Does anybody know? Does anybody know? Does anybody know?
It's
okay.
a good
You ready?
movie.
On three.
It's a good movie.
One,
the animation is amazing.
two,
It's
three.
just the live action
Osmosis Jones.
sequences that
Okay.
make it bad.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I've never actually seen that movie, but that line was played so many times at Walmart on the TV.
Visual bloopers of the live action scenes that make it very funny to watch. Like, there's a part where it's like the daughter of Frank,
I just thought it was
human body that is hosted it, is like rushing towards like the ambulance with her uncle, and the uncle's like, "It's okay, I'm her niece." Yep, that's a blooper.
That's the thing.
Hi.
Okay, I'm gonna look that up right. Hey, audio clip, Terminator.
Hang on. I'll send you the link. It was reported on whosampled.com.
That's a thing.
Who sampled Tommy Tallarico?
Okay, I'm gonna look that up right. Hey, audio clip, Terminator, Earthworm Jim.
Yeah, this soundtrack is just outstanding.
Thank you, Tony Bernadich.
Oh, so he was the one that wrote it?
Yeah, Tony was the one who made the soundtrack for Jim 1 and 2, and then Tommy just stole the fucking credit.
Yeah, and you know, the whole thing was...
Yeah, this soundtrack is just outstanding.
In the mid-90s, things were a little bit more understandable, but you made...
Oh, so he was the one that wrote it?
Controversial credits that were in the original Castlevania where they actually didn't give anybody's actual names.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know
here's the
yeah, and you know, the whole thing with video games, like,
so do you know
by the mid-90s, things were a little bit more understandable, but you may know about the controversial credits that were in the original Castlevania where they actually didn't give anybody's actual names. Do you know what?
Since the industry was so new and they didn't
Okay, so do you know why they did that?
They didn't want to list anybody in the credits, so that way they couldn't send them job offers to sway them.
It was a different game. The reason why, and Atari was probably the biggest offender about this, was that since the industry was so new and they didn't want to lose the talent that they had, they didn't want to list anybody in the credits, so that way they couldn't send them job offers to sway them away from company loyalty.
Just click on like the Terminator thing, and
so yeah, it's about as political as you can get. But anyway, let me have a look here, because I've seen the Terminator a bunch of times, but I'm trying to remember where somebody would have used that. So it's okay. So it's in the shootout. Okay, I know what scene that is. Okay. Oh my God.
Did you see the scene yet?
Okay, yeah, I know where it is.
I totally do. So that's interesting because before they became Shiny, they were
Virgin Interactive.
and they did a game based on the Terminator.
Terminator.
So maybe that audio clip.
Yeah, I totally do. So that's interesting because before they became Shiny, they were Virgin Interactive, and they did a game based on the Terminator. So maybe that audio clip was in the Terminator game, and then because they had access to it, they just put it in Jim.
There are some audio samples in the funniest of places sometimes.
Yep.
Sample appears at 6 seconds.
Yeah, that's another thing. The sound effect for those little or there's no sound effect for that in the Genesis or the Sega CD, and I don't think in the HD remake either.
No.
Yep.
And I was just like, why would not have a sound effect for that kind of animation?
Because they're stupid.
Yeah, that's another thing. The sound effect for those little orbs. There's no sound effect for that in the Genesis or the Sega CD, and I don't think in the HD remake either. And I was just like, why would not have a sound effect for that kind of animation? Yeah. I mean, like, people can definitely criticize that they say Jim's sprite is wider in the Super Nintendo version. I guess that might be the case because of the resolution that it was being displayed at, you know. But yeah, I mean, just like, okay, I can live with that. But people saying that like this was like an inferior version, like no, it wasn't. I mean,
and he also wasn't in the cartoon at all. I wonder why he wasn't in the cartoon. Maybe because he looked like a
the only time I've ever actually played that was when the HD version came out. I'm like, how did people get past this level? Because like when Earthworm 2 came out, I didn't know who Dr. Duodiem was because that level wasn't in the first game.
I would have totally loved
on the Super Nintendo, so I was really confused.
I know he was originally planned for it as he appeared in the animation, but he got cut for an unknown reason.
Major Mucus, I was also thinking.
Yeah, going to say like, you know, there just may have been a point where that even, you know, the gross out humor of the '90s, that would have been too much. So, but yeah, no, just like
obviously got better sprite work and background animations and things. Colors were richer.
Yeah, Major Mucus, I was also thinking it was supposed to be in there because that was supposed to be Snot's origin story. But yeah, no. There was, you know, some differences. Like obviously, we got better sprite work and background animations and things. Colors were richer. You know, and it was just the compression algorithm that Nintendo was using at the time was not as good as the one that Sega had. So this was a genuine case of Sega does what Nintendo don't. And by the time the sequel came out, I think Shiny had their own compression algorithm or something, because the two games were identical.
Oh my god, girl, you are building on trust issues.
Aladdin. Yeah.
Is that Rupert?
But no.
No, I'm at my mom's.
The movie is really.
Yeah.
Mortimer.
No, that's not even Mort. That's just the sound effect of the game.
Well. But yeah, well, I mean, there's a bunch. Is that Rupert?
Shiny came with their own compression algorithm for 2, or if it was.
No, they like updated it for 2, if I remember.
Mortimer.
There was a documentary they did for a UK show called Bad Influence.
Sorry. But
and they covered the development of Jim 2, but it was honestly like.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember if Shiny came with their own compression algorithm for 2, or if it was Nintendo just got better.
While they talked to everybody else who wasn't Dave Perry. I'm going to guess that was Shiny's idea.
Gotcha. Yeah, but 2 was identical across both versions of the game. It's just that it's really interesting that Lazarian Soil gets cut out on PC because they just didn't have. They just couldn't figure out how to do that trick in software.
Gotcha. Yeah, but 2 was identical across both versions of the game. It's just that it's really
Was
interesting
doing Mario 3.
that Lazarian Soil gets cut out on PC because they just didn't have. They just couldn't figure out how to do that trick in software, because I think the hardware was able to do it on both platforms. Because actually, not to get off topic, but like id Software, before they started doing Doom and Commander Keen.
Yeah, and also
Right,
they were
yeah,
rushed.
and then it was called
apparently what
Dangerous
happened is, like,
Dave
during
in
the development
Copyright
of Jim 1
Infringement
and Jim 2,
was the
they
name of the
had,
prototype,
like, only a month
because they
to
wanted to show
complete,
that they were able to
like,
do
1 month
sprite
per game,
scrolling
and
on
they didn't
PC
have the
without
source
dedicated
code for
hardware.
1, so that's why
And I'm pretty sure that's why the
so
PC version of Jim 2 is the way it
often
is because it's,
okay.
whoever was working on that port couldn't figure it out.
Yeah,
Anyway,
the guy I met, but back when I was on Twitter, I actually got to talk with one of the devs. His name was like Lars something. He was Danish.
Oh. Okay. Cool.
wow, that's really not good. I remember looking at the Windows 95 version at Best Buy, and I was like, man, I would really like this, even though I had a.
It was there, it's like, okay, so you're missing, intentional distress. Oh, boo-hoo, it wasn't a very good level to begin with. But the only thing that I miss, and I kind of wish there'd be some industrious.
Okay. Cool. International effort. But yeah, 2 was, like for like, they were identical. So, it's just that it was there, it's like, okay, so you're missing, intentional distress. Oh, boo-hoo, it wasn't a very good level to begin with. But the only thing that I miss, and I kind of wish there'd be some industrious ROM editor out there that would want to do this, is to get those extra voice clips for Jim back in the Super Nintendo version, but also to add a button to change the freaking plasma. Okay, it should have been that hard. Press the one. You had 2, 4, 6. You had 3 extra buttons on the Super Nintendo controller stock, and you couldn't be bothered to have a button that could change it between blaster and plasma. All right, if there's one thing that makes the HD version better than the others, is that you could change weapons and save your plasma for when you really needed it. Anyway, yeah, I just want to see if it would be feasibly possible
That would be
to
very
get
nice.
those voice clips back in
Okay,
and program them for the correct spot like they would be in the Genesis and the Sega CD version. But also just to, like, I don't know, press the X button to change to the goddamn plasma and back again. Wouldn't that be nice? Anyway.
And I definitely die a lot more in Jim 1 than Jim 2.
I mean, it really all depends on which one you played more. I honestly played more of 1 because I had it before 2.
I guess I didn't die a lot because I would have been stone cold sober by the end of it. Although I have,
because the HD version was like way easier as opposed to like the original version.
I mean, it really all depends on which one you played more. I honestly played more of 1 because I had it before 2, because the Super Nintendo release of 2 came out months after it did on Sega Genesis.
People just didn't figure out how to do 3D platforming.
No, and also development hell, interplay being stupid, and
right, yeah. I mean, it was, yeah.
And you want to get even more drunk? Take a shot every time.
That is, and that's mostly because people just didn't figure out how to do 3D platforming.
It crashes.
Yeah, well, there's other things, meddling from management, which is, not unheard of in game development.
What the fuck is that?
That's the thing.
It's bouncing. There's a spring.
It what? Oh, crap! It sounded like you said presses, and I'm like, what? Right.
I definitely will tell you. Like I said, I had Jim 1 longer.
That's a thing.
The release.
I guess that's I assume it.
So when my friend Victor.
Yeah, that's the corrupted spring graphic from New Junk City, I guess.
From the local video.
I definitely will tell you. Like I said, I had Jim 1 longer you know, the release between Jim 1 and Jim 2 was for the Super Nintendo was a lot
I
longer.
think that's a corrupted
So
sprite
when my friend Victor Andrews, Vicious Victor T on Twitter, he rented 2 from the local video rental store, and yes, that's how long ago this was. What the hell is that? Okay, that was right. Well, I mean, what was it supposed to be of is what I was trying to figure out. Anyways, we were doing pretty good getting through the game, but then we got to the last level where you're racing Psychro, and there were a lot of game overs. There were a lot of game overs. Victor was, I mean, he eventually got it, but good Lord, you know, you talk about somebody raging out. I mean, and he was the one that was insistent on trying to beat it. You know, I didn't get a chance to play that level at all until I got it on the Super Nintendo.
It's all about ebb and
but
flow, so using your whip.
I'm just vibing in the background listening to Moonlight Sonata Movement 3. And he's just like, about, yeah. And I was just like, hey, he's about to throw his controller and put it through the TV.
But it just doesn't get used a lot. And then in Jim 3D, I noticed that you don't like fly anywhere at all. The whip
exactly.
is only used in combat.
I don't remember if the Jim whip was as powerful as it was in 2 as it was in 1, but I mean, like it
it's different using the Jim whip in 2D.
Right. I mean, like
the distance between you and the enemy is limited by the size of the screen, right?
Right.
But in Jim 3,
right, and which is also interesting because, you know, the access to weapons is so pervasive, and you have it's different using the Jim whip in 2D because the distance between you and the enemy is limited by the size of the screen, right? But in Jim 3, it's 3D, and it's based on the draw distance of what you can see. Therefore, it makes more sense to use the black or whatever physical weapon. I don't. Maybe it's telling us that we should spring forward and not fall back. Maybe it's telling us that daylight savings time should end forever. I don't know. I'm just making shit up as I go along here. Hi, Internet. Welcome to Corruptathon, Earthworm Jim Special Edition. I mean, not even the special. I mean, yeah, Super Famicom. I'm telling you, just stay in the middle of the screen.
That was so good.
No! Okay, that
Famicom.
I mean, obviously move for, you know, when the fire comes, but, you know, just stay in the middle of the screen for everything else.
Could you use this song, but make a Legend of Zelda version for the Super Famicom? And they're like, okay. And that's where that gif of, like, Link and everybody dancing comes from. It's because it's, like, a remix of that song.
Oh, so that was the live action Link to the Past commercial?
Yeah, it was based off a rap song. It was a rap song that was all about getting home from school and playing the Super Famicom.
That's cool. There was a commercial for Link to the Past on the Game Boy that was basically a rap.
Oh, so that was the live action Link to the Past commercial?
Let's see if I can find that.
Okay. Gotcha. There was
Yeah, the song was done by Shachadara Par. And
there was a commercial for Link to the Past on the Game Boy that was basically a rap. That was pretty amazing. Let me see if I can find that.
A street named after them in New York City.
That is hilarious.
I think it's overdue is what it
is. Okay, a guy in the chat asked if this is an AI or real people. No, we are real people. We are real cartoon people.
Yes.
Oh, you know, the Beastie Boys very recently got a street named after them in New York City.
We would probably be playing Fortnite or something.
I think it's overdue is what it is.
Playing League of Legends, saying how bad Defense of the Ancients 2 is, while our sponsor is Incredible VPN.
Yes. We only the finest cartoon people will ever be on this stream. No, we would be playing League of Legends, saying how bad Defense of the Ancients 2 is, while our sponsor is Incredible VPN.
just that, you know,
Yep.
He defeated the most ridiculous things.
Yeah, and she's gotten.
No,
You know, there was actually a.
this is going to be an AI initiative. Neurosama on here.
Yeah.
The AI VTuber.
Yeah. The same thing
She gets in
happened with
trouble
like
a lot. Not
a game
because she was a
crash.
bad AI, it's just that, you know, chat says things. Yeah. You know, and she's gotten. Oh, you know, there was actually an AI comedy program for like writing
That's a
Seinfeld
crash.
episodes. Uh-oh.
I don't think it's gonna be possible.
I was gonna say like the stream
this,
is it
but
the
it's
stream freeze or is that you? And I
funny
was like, no, it's just stream freeze.
It's a challenge.
But the music's still going.
Challenge, but it's a challenge. Anyway, a similar thing happened with Family Guy, but instead of it being like a transphobic joke, the AI Peter Griffin accidentally gave instructions on how to bomb the White House.
Oh, that's really not good.
No, what the?
It's a challenge.
The floor is gone.
Oh, we are right out of the gate. We're already in trouble.
Oh, that's really not good.
Alright, let's see if I could go based off of my memory.
Let's see what happens, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, we are right out of the gate. We're already in trouble. Let's see what happens, ladies and gentlemen.
I died! Damn it! Ah, man, that background is still so beautiful.
I really love how they have a sprite layer just for the light that is actually detecting the sprite layers in front of it so the light's not shining all the time. That is
Guy in chat asks, okay, then you must have also played Earthworm Jim 2. Would you say it's harder or easier? I would say it's easier. It's just
I really love how they have a sprite layer just for the light that is actually detecting the sprite layers in front of it so the light's not shining all the time. That is amazing.
Oh, it's a 2D platformer. You go to the right. Okay, yeah, that's true.
It also so while Jim 1's levels are kind of like you kind of know what direction you're supposed to like it's really obvious to say, oh, it's a 2D platformer, you go to the right. Okay, yeah, that's true. But then you start like anything but Tangerines is a really good example that you start out with that and you go all the way to the right. That's not the end of the level. You like go like in a circle in that level, and it's like a spiraling circle that keeps getting expanded outward. That you actually end up underneath the spot where you started from. You know, just because the way the level's wrapped around itself. So I would say the level design for Jim 2 is more intricate, but the game overall is a lot easier. And I think that it also has a lot to do with the fact that there are more weapons.
For, like,
a lot more weapons
against like Major Mucus or something.
Yeah, exactly. That would have been like
well, the button
really funny because
do anything. It's just,
there is an exit sign here.
It would have been really funny if it was like it was a secret like one-shot kill weapon against a boss, but only one boss.
Jim has left the building and the cameraman is getting drunk.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. That would have been like really, really funny because there's a there is a
but it still knew how to interact with
it almost has left the building.
Yes. What up, Matrix Power 7?
Oh my god. Okay, so let's talk about this for a second. The game
Hello, Neo.
put something in the wrong place, but it still knew how to interact with it.
Wonderful person.
That's pretty amazing.
So all I can assume is that Jim stuck out the fire exit. And
Are you the one, Matrix Power 7? Are you Neo? Are you Keanu Reeves? Are you Keanu Reeves? Who is a wonderful person.
The entrance.
So you're just kind of there.
Meanwhile, the cameraman's just dancing like do.
He's just having fun, you know?
Right, he's actually, it doesn't look like he's on the plane anymore, and it's like, it loaded the exit, but it didn't load the level data connected to it. So you're just kind of there.
Magic the Gathering, you know?
Yeah.
All the Satan worshippers.
He's just having fun, you know?
Yeah, that's a reset.
By the time I got to
Magic, probably.
Stopped trying.
Or ecstasy, I don't know.
And then I was able to play all the games that I wanted to play.
Oh, yeah, Magic the Gathering, you know? That's what all the Satan worshippers love to play, as my mother would say back then. Yeah, that was...
I mean, technically, too, but it's a Christian game. You're beating up demons.
Exactly.
Yeah. By the time I got to be like a senior in high school, she stopped trying, you know. And then I was able to play all the games that I wanted to play growing up, like Doom and Heretic, you know. Nice games that good Catholics are not supposed to play.
Against the Serpent Riders, and it actually says
exactly, and so is Heretic. You aren't a heretic against Christianity. You're a heretic against the Serpent Riders, which are like an evil group of people. You know? Like, if you actually paid attention to the lore of Heretic, you are an elf witch hunter fighting against the Serpent Riders, and it actually says in the credits, you know, being a heretic isn't easy. Of course it isn't. You know. Exactly, and it was an incredibly fun game. Like, I will send you a video clip of it. It had some great first-person inspired medieval weapons, but my favorite one was the ethereal crossbow because it had such a cool sound effect. It shot, you know, pure energy bolts instead of actual bolts, but it had like this great sound effect when you would fire that was just like, this is so cool. So yeah.
Is that okay then?
Okay then.
Do you want to talk about things that unexpectedly didn't age well in movies?
Okay then.
Yeah, that aged badly. But I was actually going to talk about an unexpected source for aged badness.
Some of the Lion King.
No, actually, I was going to talk about Piglet's big movie.
What? Really?
Yeah, there's a song in Piglet's big movie called Mother's Intuition. It plays during the part where, like, Kanga is giving Piglet a bath, and the first line goes like this. It's a mother's intuition to make her little space. It's her quiet mission to tidy up her place.
Okay.
What? Really?
And it's like, the song is like, filled with like female mother stereotypes. It's like she cooks and cleans and she washes her baby, and I'm like, is this sexist? Like, I know it's trying to be sweet, but like, is it sexist?
It's a mother's responsibility to take care of the children, and sometimes that includes keeping home and making food. Now, if it was saying a mother's place is in the kitchen, that is sexist.
Yeah. So, but no, the first line is, it's a mother's intuition to make a little space. It's a mother's intuition to tidy up her place.
It's a mother's responsibility to take care of the children, and sometimes that includes keeping home and making food. Now, if it was saying a mother's place is in the kitchen, that is sexist. So, you know, like, it...
have them be safe. And I know this because that's what happened to Cortana. She took a bunch of my clothes.
Okay, but that's the same thing. Like when a cat is gonna have a litter of kittens, she's just not gonna do it in the middle of the street. She's gonna go find a place and make a little den so they can, you know, bump them and actually have them be safe. And I know this because that's what happened to Cortana. She took a bunch of my clothes. Yeah, at the foot of my bed. So You know, that it's. I don't think there's anything inherently sexist about that line, but like it's like again, if it was like saying a mother's place is in
Peter
the
Pan.
kitchen, then yes, that absolutely would be. But talking about preparing like a space for your child, that sounds pretty
A
like
person in the chat said a
instinctual
lot
to
of shit
me.
from the Goonies. The teen girlfriend
But you know,
accidentally
like you want
becomes
to
the
talk about
boyfriend's
stuff
little
that
brother. Some
like didn't
racist jokes
age
against
well at all. You
babyhood-phobic
know, like
atheism. It used to be my favorite movie, but
what
yikes! Oh my god,
that
I
one's pretty bad.
remember the
What makes
Goonies.
the Hurricane Red? Yeah, that's pretty bad. So there is another one that I can
makes me uncomfortable. I don't like being
I
reminded
only
that
ever saw Goonies once, and it was because I was being grounded, so I couldn't watch like any movies willingly. But my mom wanted to watch the Goonies, and she's like, "You can watch
So
this
yeah,
because
I
you didn't
can't
pick
watch
it."
the Goonies anymore because of sloth. That really makes me uncomfortable. I don't like being reminded that.
Yeah.
to be, the abused child getting the comeuppance and, whatever. It just makes me feel uncomfortable that, people like that can exist and be
Well, I mean,
mistreated.
it's a fun movie up until okay, phrase that. It's a fun movie for me up until Sloth shows up. And I get that it's supposed to be, the abused child getting the comeuppance and, whatever. It just makes me feel uncomfortable that, people like that can exist and be mistreated. But everything else, like, it's comedy. Like, there's
Damn it.
how many times in history has somebody done 6 minutes in heaven and you come into the closet and realize you weren't kissing your girlfriend, you were kissing somebody else? That happens. All right, that's harmless teen comedy right there. Especially if it's like the younger kid and the older girl. Like I cannot tell you how many like people were like, man, my babysitter was hot, I wish I kissed her or something like that, that happens. All right. What I, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but try to do yourself a huge favor. And I've lost a couple of friends along the way because of
Russian, and
this.
she absolutely
Be
fucking loves the
offended
Russian
of things
stereotype
that
jokes in The
affect
Simpsons, for
you.
example. Like she
Don't
was
be
bursting
offended
out
on the
laughing
on
at
the
like the
behalf of
itchy
other
and scratchy
people,
joke.
because that what may you find to be offensive about them may not offend the actual person that it's directly affecting.
Named Raven Manning. Raven, like the bird, Nannie. And we were going around the room because it was
Right. So, and I can give you a really, really good example of this. Back when I was managing for GameStop, we had this very tall Native American fella named Raven Manny. Raven, like the bird, Nannie. And we were going around the room because it was a slow night. It was like February. And the store was already cleaned up. And we're just talking about where our families came from. I'm half German, half Irish. A lot of people say they came from Poland. And then a very, I forgot, Gio Aparicio, half black, half Portuguese. And then you had, and we all kind of slowly turned to Raven.
What?
And we were like,
what the?
And I was trying to start the conversation by saying, what, where, and I didn't know how to say it because I didn't want to come off as being offensive because I haven't had an interaction with a Native American like this before. And he said, nation. We like to have it called, what nation are you from? And I said, okay, what, right? That's interesting. And I said, what nation are you from, Raven? He said, oh, I'm Mohawk. I'm like, really? So you're from, like, your family's from upstate New York? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And it's like, so, like, how do you feel about, Native American? And he said, I actually find that to be offensive. And I'm like, really? And I'm like, why is that? Because he said
kind of funny.
The term Indian that was used by the settlers roughly translated in Mohawk to heavenly bodies. So being called Native American to them was a downgrade. So when people, right? So I still feel comfortable in 2008 or something openly calling somebody an Indian in this politically sensitive time. And I kind of winced and I said, Aboriginal American? And he said, that'll do. Because, there's the indigenous people of Australia that are, that resemble Africans, and they're called the Aborigines. Aboriginal. They were there before the prison colony. Yeah, exactly. So, when I said Aboriginal Americans, I'm saying you were the Americans before the Americans, and to him that was okay. But that was very interesting that he said, don't call me a Native American because that's a slight against my people, because that's not the word that we use to describe ourselves after we came in contact with you. And I'm like, okay. No. And where I'm going with this is what I said earlier. Don't be offended on somebody else's behalf because you don't know how it's going to make that other person feel.
Yeah, they prefer
Let them talk first. Okay.
And if I'm unsure about it, I keep it to myself.
Yeah, I'm still like really? I thought being called Latin or Latino was much, Yeah, so I'm just I'm just going with what I'm hearing other people saying, and if I'm unsure about it, I keep it to myself, or I actually try the conversation, And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I actually lost a couple of friends along the way that got in slacktivism on social media about being offended about every goddamn thing on the behalf of somebody else. Like somebody was doing a cosplay and the character wore glasses, and they felt it would be ableist to wear glasses if they had perfect vision. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, that's not being ableist to me. You are trying to, Of course, it's the same thing that people sometimes have difficulty doing cosplays for the character Daredevil, not necessarily Daredevil himself, the blind lawyer. Now, if you're like doing the kick and you're walking around with a walking stick, okay, you might give people the impression that you actually are blind. You probably shouldn't do that unless if you're going to be posing for pictures. Okay, there's the difference between the two right there. But getting offended because you are going to go ahead and wear glasses and that's offending people that wear glasses and that's ableist, calm the fuck down. All right, have some water, take a deep breath. All right, seriously, it's time and place and context. All right, you want to talk about stuff that hasn't aged well? George Carlin, a lot of his stuff hasn't aged well. All right. Well, okay, it's worth watching his stuff at least once, but you got to remember in the context in which it was being made. A lot of mental disorders weren't thoroughly understood the way they are now. He was talking about like how much of a first world problem it is that we have this rich woman, and he didn't say woman, he said CUNT. Go eat a fine meal and then intentionally throw it up. All right, bulimia back in 1990 was nowhere as well understood as it is today. And he says, like what some rich CUNT doesn't want to eat, fuck her. And I'm like, no, George, I'm sorry. That's no. Same thing about it. Well, see, here's the thing. A lot of them are actual friends and fans of porn stars. I'm not saying they get a pass, but they have friends that people can independently verify that would, that understand that.
That's funny.
But I forget what the song is called, but there's the cow again. The hook is I don't like you because you don't like me because I don't give a damn because you're not like me. There's a joke in there. It's I'm more tongue in cheek than a lesbo orgy. Okay, that's funny because because you understand the context, right? It's all about that. It's context. That is he's not supposed to be there. How are you supposed to get by him then?
Racial slur. You know how the word in and of
I really don't. I probably had plasma and I probably shot him. That's probably what it was. But anyways, it's context. Same thing. There was a thing where he was talking about racial slur. How the word in and of itself is not offensive. It's the context in which he used it. And then he used something to describe Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy and other famous black comedians. And I'm like, bro, you're so lucky this was 1990 when you said this, because there's no way you could say that today and actually not have people right and not have people understand where you're coming from. Because I get what he's saying, but you shouldn't be dropping the N-bomb just to make a point, is what I'm saying. Especially if you're white or any other, non African denomination or something like that.
Yes.
Again, context, but at the same time,
yeah,
we are in different times where, like the concept of institutionalized racism is still a very real possibility in some parts of the country.
Stay within your lane.
It's just like,
don't be a racist dick.
Stay within your lane is what I'm trying to say. So anyways, hey, it's Earthworm Jim! Wow! Yeah, seriously. This wasn't meant to be a geopolitical discussion, but what I'm saying is, stay within your lane. Don't be offended on the other people. Exactly. Thank you. There we go. That's a very good summary. This is what I'm talking about, like crazy stuff. I had Whitley on Twitch with me. We were playing some of his Mario Maker levels, and then it got into this gigantic multiple religion discussion. And again, I was raised Catholic. That doesn't mean I am Catholic anymore. But at the same time, it was just kind of like, talking about the overlap between Judaism and Christianity and Islam and all this other fun stuff. Stuff that I normally don't enjoy talking about because it honestly makes me uncomfortable. But Whitley's a good guy, and that's the only thing he's ever known is Judaism. So it was kind of interesting to, talk from two different perspectives. And then Woody Man comes into the chat, like, damn, this is a heavy discussion for Mario Maker.
I know.
And it was just kind of funny, like me in the chat and everybody else kind of forgot what we were doing, And man, Whitley really has some intricately designed Mario Maker levels. Like, holy shit.
Lunch.
But he's he's got that's unfortunate.
For like a dinner.
How funny would it have been if you passed right through that wall and then the exit door came?
And it said it came with 4 pancakes. Can you? My problem wasn't with the amount of pancakes. It's that they weren't pancakes. Can you guess what they gave me?
Rice paper.
Tortillas.
Oh, delicious.
No.
They gave me 4 tortillas.
That's a lot.
That's not good. That's not good at all.
Like, they were quite literally fucking rice tortillas. So I just get the genius idea to eat my moose.
Rice paper.
Why is there a random continue there?
That's no. That's not good. That's not good at all.
The one thing about Korean cuisine is because of having American bases, they were.
That is not supposed to be there. Actually, you know what? That reminds me from the Korean cooking channel that I watched, Aaron and Claire. He actually had an episode of
Japan is like
the one thing about Korean cuisine is they because of having American bases, they were exposed to a lot of American stuff that they really adopted. Like, they incorporate dairy into their food, where China and Japan doesn't. But he actually...
And I ate it like that. It said it came with 4 pancakes.
So, because it's also like a starch and something they can make in, Yes.
Yeah, no, it's all... Yeah, no, it isn't. But
I mean, that works.
You can kind of like an Asian fusion with that right there, because on the Aaron and Claire channel, he did Ken do uses for tortillas, and he did a Korean barbecue wrap with one.
Yeah, no, it's all. Yeah, no, it isn't. But you know, there's a you can kind of do kind of like an Asian fusion with that right there, because on the Aaron and Claire channel, he did
No, because the
10
game is
new
corrupted.
uses for tortillas, and he did a Korean barbecue wrap with one. And that was really cool because the concept of Korean barbecue is pretty different from what it is what an American or a Brit would call a barbecue. That's really a weird spot for that. That shouldn't be there. Right. But yeah, no, like he, you know, bulgogi is this Korean barbecue. It's usually made of either ground beef or very thinly sliced brisket beef. And basically, you know, he just was able to go and just turn it into a whole damn, like, you know, Korean barbecue burrito of sorts. So I'm sure the same thing could have been done with your mushu tortilla. So, yeah, but that's still, like, I'm wondering if they, like, didn't have any, and they just ran out and bought some, you know, just to cover until the next, or you gotta be a little lower, where those two lights are.
Oh, no.
Just until the vendor gets, like, a new order in. Because, like, I remember the Popeyes in Leesburg, like, one time I went there, and one of the, you know, like, what's one of the best things about Popeyes that's not the chicken? Other than the, what?
Mashed potatoes.
Oh no. Okay,
chicken.
Popeyes. Aside from the mac and cheese, what's a great thing on the menu? Oh, okay, that's also good. They didn't have those back in 2009, but keep going. What else is on the menu that's really good?
The biscuits, okay.
Okay, that's also good. That's especially with the Cajun gravy. What else? That's not chicken. It's not shrimp. I know there is. The biscuits.
Oh no.
The biscuits are great. The biscuits are great. So you know, I'm in line to get my chicken tenders and my Cajun mashed potatoes, and then I look over and I see the biscuits. They don't look like any kind of biscuits I've ever seen Popeyes have. They look like biscuits that you would go to the grocery store and get from like Pillsbury in the little roll, you know. And I told the manager, so it's like, hey, what's going on here? That doesn't look like any of the biscuits you have. Like, did you guys change the recipes? Like, no, my assistant manager forgot to place the order to the vendor, and I wanted to have something, so we petty cashed out a bunch of Pillsbury rolls and tried to prepare them the same way they do with the real ones and fry them, and it just didn't work.
Yeah.
They kind of came out more like donuts than, you know, fried bit. Yeah, so it was, yeah, I was just like, so maybe that's what happened.
I'm still finding it funny that they gave me tortillas.
Yeah, I mean, that's something,
yeah, oh, the chicken and dumplings, yeah. Yeah, but yeah. Yeah, so maybe that's what happened with your mixture chicken, that they ran out of pancakes and they just bought some tortillas just so you could have something in there, you know?
Just kind of want to, like, reach through the internet and take the controller and finish this level for
yeah, I mean, that's something, that's a,
I wish you could.
I mean, they could say, like, hey, it's a new Asian fusion thing. Like, no, shut up, you ran out. You know, I mean, just...
I know there's something called Parsec.
What are you guys doing?
Ah!
I just kind of want to, like, reach through the internet and take the controller and finish this level for you. Well, there's actually a mode for that on Xbox. It's called Copilot.
It would basically be like a dial-up modem. You would plug your cartridge into your Super Nintendo.
Parsec is, so this is a very old idea. Even back in the 90s, there was something called the X-Band. It was basically a dial-up modem that you would plug your... I have no idea. It would basically be like a dial-up modem. You would plug your cartridge into your Super Nintendo or your Genesis, and player 2 would suddenly become somebody on the internet playing the same game as you. So, like, you know, you could play like NBA Jam, or, you know, like Smash TV, or Super Mario World. Yeah. It was, but the data was low enough that it actually could work in real time. The only thing was, you wouldn't have a way to talk to the other person unless if you had two phone lines in your house, and not everybody did back then. So you kind of had to get it arranged in advance and hope that other person would be there. But anyways, the concept of taking there's a thing from level 5. The concept of taking a normally, what the fuck was that?
The data from one player to another to simulate online play.
I think I'm gonna reset.
So, but yeah, the concept of taking a local 2-player game and making it online multiplayer. So basically, that's what Parsec is doing, is letting 2 people run the emulator at the same time on their respective computers, but sending the data from one player to another.
The demos aren't getting corrupted, but the actual gameplay.
That's because I
I didn't know you were transitioned away. Anyway, I got about like 15, 20 minutes I can spare off now.
It doesn't carry over.
All right, so whenever you're ready.
I would almost want to see what happens with
I really find it interesting that the demos aren't getting corrupted, but the actual gameplay does.
certain games that I care about, but like buying.
I was wondering what would happen.
Yeah.
I do like the documentaries that summoning songs.
I would almost want to see what happens with the demo if you just leave it going. Because, like, there's a really, like, I'm not that really big into speedrunning. Maybe for certain games that I care about, but, like, by and large, I really don't follow that. I do like the documentaries that Summoning Song does about the world record progression. But the only really two times a year I really care about speedrunning is Awesome Games Done Quick and Summer Games Done Quick. Usually because Awesome Games is like right the week after MagFest. You're recovering from your MagFest hangover, and you can just watch people just like beat the shit out of games really fast. But anyways, Mitch Flower Power. I really like him. He is a very humble, a very funny guy, and his contributions to the Mario Brothers 3 world records are really amazing because some of those levels are hard, but there's some very practical approaches that he implements in his speedruns that even a normie could use to help beat the levels to make them just a little bit easier.
Right.
And he was trying to save time on a level in World 2, and he was using an emulator playthrough of the game of him doing it under a tool-assisted speedrun, right? And he was playing it, and then all of a sudden, the tech desynced, used a warp whistle, and went to World 7. And he had no idea why it happened. Well, apparently, there's two versions of Super Mario Brothers 3. And it's all based on the card label, that depending on what side of the screen that it says bros on. So there's left bros and right bros.
Oh!
And if you play the task on the emulator with the ROM on left bros, it freaks the fuck out about 15 minutes in and doesn't know what to do. So, yeah. Yes, I thought that was gonna happen. I didn't expect it to happen.
It fucking hit him. Let's go. Come on.
Lock! It's locked! Oh, we can this! You don't you just gotta, like, hope the crate hits him. We can still do this! We can still do this!
Nope.
Oh!
Game cheated!
It cheated! Oh, hey! We're back!
Okay, so I wonder if that sprite tile will still make you fall through the floor. Interesting how didn't fall through, but you did?
Yeah.
Boo! Game cheated!
I think it's because it
Game cheated!
Over it.
Maybe?
Okay, so I wonder if that sprite tile will still make you fall through the floor.
Over it.
Interesting how the crate didn't fall through, but you did?
Damn it. Well, I guess that's one thing.
Maybe?
That's something.
I will never find it not funny. I remember this was in middle school. I wrote in the teacher asked me what I did this summer and told me to write an essay about it. She tried to correct me on this boss. I told him I played a video game where there was a man vomiting fish. She tried to correct me to say it was a fish vomiting a man up, but no, I was correct. It was a man vomiting fish.
She doesn't know what she's talking
No, she clearly doesn't.
No. She doesn't know what she's talking about.
I love my girlfriend. She'll like send me something about like, oh my fucking god, America is fucking ruined. I love you.
Yeah, going back to staying in the lane, just don't. I can definitely tell you that putting social media on an arm's length reach. And what I mean by that is, I'm still on Twitter, but I don't look at the timeline.
Yeah, going back to staying in the lane,
because they
don't.
added a new
I can
rule
definitely tell you that
that's like we have
putting
the right
social
to
media
use
on
your content to feed
an
our
arm's length
AI, and this
reach.
was
And what I
after
mean
Musk
by that
came
is,
in.
I'm still on
This new
Twitter,
rule
but I
was
don't look at the
introduced
timeline
August,
anymore.
and then I quit.
I tweet, I respond.
Then don't put any content out there. What I would say
Yep.
is using it as a platform to advertise yourself. Because Twitter as itself is too big to be ignored. I know a lot of people are trying to go to Blue Sky and other things, but anyways, my point is, I still tweet, I respond.
Well, then don't put any content out there. What I would say is using it as a platform to advertise yourself. Because Twitter as itself is too big to be ignored. I know a lot of people are trying to go to Blue Sky and other things, but anyways, my point is, I still tweet, I respond to my at replies, I respond to my DMs, but I haven't looked at the main timeline since April of 2020, and my mental health has improved so much. And the reason for that is it didn't matter how many filters or how many keywords I blocked, stuff still got through on my feed, and I was seeing stuff that was pissing me off and depressing me. Now,
Look at him.
so back to Jim. Classical music. So
He's
far,
so far away.
You say this now, but I'm pretty sure in about 15 seconds, it's gonna hit the fan. It's gonna fit the fan. Classical music.
It's probably in some Marvel composition.
Well, I mean, he's just vibing up there. So he's the soundtrack to his own life, I guess.
Oh, that's fun.
One of the things is we are in a gated community. The property values are high. Really stupid shit.
I have this. It's probably in some Marvel composition book from middle school, but I wrote lyrics to the calm part of this song.
The day that you introduced
and it was like one of the things was we are in a gated community. The property values are high. Really stupid shit.
Day of my life. I wouldn't have been here if I probably would have still just been like I don't know what I would be doing
without you. In this instance, it's okay to wonder what would have been if it didn't happen.
Yep.
If it did happen. So, here's a really good example of that. If I never met Shelby, and don't in this instance, it's okay to wonder what would have been if it didn't happen, not if it did happen. So, here's a really good example of that. If I never met Shelby Easton when she was interning for Screw Attack, I would not have gone into content production. I never would have invested in capital equipment. I never would have learned to be a self-taught video editor. I would have never streamed on Twitch. And of course I was more at the time romantically interested in her than, being a business partner, but it became very obvious very early on that we could, and that's what I kind of reined myself in and said, let's work on this. And we did. And we thought we were so smart creating a streaming network, not realizing that people had already done that.
But, you know, the fact is that we were trying to do that, and the four of us, myself, Shelby, Kanan up in Toronto, and Jordan up in Jersey, you know, until Jordan went off to college, you know, we were out there week in and week out, absolutely slaying that dragon, getting shit done. I didn't know you could kill the lawyers without plasma. That's interesting. But yeah, no, if it wasn't for her, and this is literally what it was, you know, when she found out that I had bought the same analog capture card that Screw Attack used, and it was still in its box, and I wasn't doing anything with it. You know, she's like, "Why aren't you doing this?" And I'm like, "Because I'm worried about it not being good and yada yada." And she's like, "Tom, just fucking do it."
That was a huge butterfly effect on me.
I'm serious. That's, you know, if she didn't do that, you know, we wouldn't be doing this right now. So, you know, it's just like the people that,
you know, and I said earlier that I was at the time more romantically interested in being a business partner. Years later,
so, you know, it's just like, you know, it's weird. The people that you meet, you never know the long-term impact of what they're going to cause. And, you know, and I said earlier that I was at the time more romantically interested in her than being a business partner. Years later, I actually would finally tell her how I felt after she broke up with her fiance. And she said, "Oh, I always knew." And you were still willing to work with me? Yeah, because I knew you weren't going to cross the lines.
That's more important to me in the long
run. It is. So, you know, that was actually really something else that that all worked out. Now, I never got to, you know, be with her, but the fact is that we're still in contact, and it's just, and she's actually dating one of my best friends, which means I know that she's going to be taken care of for the rest of her life. You know, that's more important to me in the long run than it ever was up in the front. And the fact that we're still in contact with each other and go to MagFest and shit, I couldn't be happier, seriously. The people you meet, you don't know what it's going to do. It's really something else. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was really something. Hey, by the way, I have a daughter. CC's Pizza question mark?
I kind of want to know if I'm on the spectrum in some capacity.
I mean, probably.
Again, I never would have known if she never told me. Like, you were so high functioning, I never would have known. Seriously. But because of you, I actually want to get myself tested because she said she saw things in me that she saw in you when you were a little bitty. So I kind of want to know if I'm on the spectrum in some capacity. Because of, well, it's because my uncle, my maternal uncle, has Asperger's, and he was very hard to get into social situations and, you know, learned things at a different rate and everything. And once he found his stride, he went on to have an absolutely legendary run as a computer programmer for the federal government, retired early. So, you know, it again, there's a real possibility because my cousin, maternal cousin Joey, he has it too, but his mother didn't. My mother's thinking now, after all these years, that she probably was too. So I'm in the process of switching doctors, and I'm going to ask my primary care if I can see a neurologist to work with my psychiatrist to find out if I'm on the spectrum in some capacity and if there's anything that we can do to help me get more out of it. Because again, it's how your brain's processing the information. It's not the inability of processing the information.
Because, like, I think she's paying me like a nice compliment, and it's like
exactly, because I'm like, oh, great. Here's the biggest problem I have with relationships. It's not that I'm good in them. It's that I have trouble recognizing that a girl is interested in me.
So I'm more double ignorant.
Okay, because like I think she's paying me like a nice compliment, and it's like, dude, she wants to jump you like super bad. Like, oh great. Like, unless if you don't like tell me like straight up, I'm probably not gonna get it.
Or better ways to approach things that I previously would have had problems with because I don't.
Well, you know, it's better to be ignorant than to be cruel, I guess is the answer to that. Yeah. But, you know, like, it's just one of those things that, like, I don't know if some slight taking to the medicine I'm taking, or if there's like better ways to approach things that I previously would have had problems with. Because I gotta tell you, like the first like couple of months that I was working at Walmart in high school, like I was, didn't know what to do or interact with people. And basically what I had to do is psych myself up into faking that I was more confident than I actually was.
No,
And hoping that nobody would ever guess that. And that just kind of became the way I worked professionally. So by the time I became a manager in GameStop, that was the epitome of faking until you make it. And I became
it's like
more of a...
doors in Funko.
That is like, not usual. No. Wouldn't it be funny if the progress bar would go in reverse?
I like how there's that.
And yeah, there you go. And it takes you right to Buttville.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be something?
But yeah, no.
It's what the. Die.
And then you go to the wrong level. You're like, God damn it!
We've got multiple. What?
I like how there's that look at that green block just going across the screen like an Atari game.
There's a green and there's a blue one. Do you think we're going in a circle?
But yeah, no, like fake it till you make it. Okay, now we got multiple.
They're playing Tetris.
Going on here.
You ever play Tetris 2?
Atari block. Like there was a green and there was a blue.
Have I ever played what?
Yeah. Wouldn't that be something?
What on earth could they have done to Tetris 2
to
make
they decided to hang out for us.
Oh.
Yeah, they are. You ever play Tetris 2?
It's you would get lines to clear out blocks, but there would be these
Hello?
blocks that if you had them touch another block,
Tetris 2.
And remove blocks in like a 2x2 or a 4x4 or an 8x8.
Exploding blocks.
Very interesting. It comes to never reach the level of popularity.
If you you would get lines to clear out blocks, but there would be these explosive blocks that if you had them touch another block, it would explode and remove blocks in the like a 2x2 or a 4x4 or an 8x8 grid area, and it was very interesting. And it claims to never reach the level of popularity as the original because that's the one that always sells the best. But yeah, Tetris 2 was really something else. My favorite version of Tetris, though, isn't the one that Nintendo produced, or the sequel for that matter. It was actually the one that was unlicensed by Atari, by their... Yes, and I lusted, and I'm using that word correctly, I lusted after that game for years, and I finally found a copy on Lukey Games, and it didn't work. So, about 2 or 3 years later, I found a copy at a table at MagFest, and the guy was asking for $50 for it, and I was like, dude, I want to pay this, but I want to know if this works. So I actually went over to another table where they were prototyping a Nintendo game, and I said, hey, can I borrow this for a second? So I gave the guy my freaking driver's license, walked over to the table, made sure went back, got my driver's license, started to go ahead and leave, and then noticed a copy of the Guardian Legend still in the box, and I'm like, shit. And I said, like, hey, how much is this? And it wasn't on the spreadsheet, so he gave it to me for like $20. And I was like, shit. Yeah, so, but the best part about the Tengen version of Tetris that doesn't get talked about and really didn't come back as a feature until I think Tetris on the DS was that it had not just versus mode, but a cooperative mode. So you and a friend would go ahead and work together to clear lines to prevent, from getting a game over. And the really cool thing about this is it relies so much on your ability to find the shining spark in the middle. Yeah, that will I guess that was supposed to be a fill-up or something like that. Anyway, so the great thing about the co-op
You're
mode
either
is
gonna have a kid
it
by the time you get
tests
the highest
your
score, or
ability
you're
to
gonna get a
communicate.
game over by the time you get a
So
divorce.
I saw, like, you know what, you want to say you have a good relationship with your significant other? Here, test it with this game right here.
There's
You know,
just a random
so either
crane
you're
there.
gonna win or you're gonna break up by the time you get a game over.
There you go. There we go.
Whee!
Exactly. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Now that I never had to ever drive, it's really cool.
But that's the only other
Yep.
game, right?
They take you to fight the chicken.
Bloodville and here in the SNES version.
Oh, you can do it. There you go.
That's it.
There we go.
Yeah, that cow is deliberate.
Cow.
That was a glitch because I don't remember the cow.
I mean, the cow in
It got dropped in
Bloodville,
Jim
but
HD, but
that's
no,
the only
it was
other
there in
time,
the SNES
right?
version. I'm still thinking
so
about
that's
how
deliberate?
the DSi version couldn't even translate start into Japanese correctly. They
Okay, I thought that was a
translated it
glitch
as
because I
gameplay,
don't remember the
which
cow
is
being in
fucking
any other levels
impressive,
other than New Junk City and
because
Buttville.
start and gameplay are both loan words. How did you mix them up?
They just didn't care, or they didn't try.
They also, like, left all the bosses' names in English and didn't even get those correct.
Oops.
Peter's name was translated to Puppy. They forgot his name. He just got translated
They just didn't
to Puppy.
care, or they didn't try.
No. And then as for Queen Slug for a Butt, guess what this stupid DS game called her?
Oops.
What the fuck? Yeah, no, I'm
not correct.
Let's see what happens to the demos when they're all funky.
Yes. This one's for Mitch Flower Power.
Termite Queen. What the fuck?
Seriously, like, in the world of like speedrunning, there are some people that are some total prima donnas, but this guy has somehow managed to stay humble.
Yes. This one's for Mitch Flower Power.
Wow, okay.
Seriously, like, in the world of like speedrunning, there are some people that are some total prima donnas, but this guy has somehow managed to stay humble and
Let's
go.
reset and do that again, but this time
We're do a
Before you turn it on.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so I guess I answered that question.
2, 3, 4.
It just doesn't know what to do because the data's not. Oh my god! Wow. Let's try that again.
What a level to do it.
Wait for the demo to start before you turn it on.
Definitely won't get to.
Oh no. What a level to do it.
Oh, nope, there goes the background. And it continue.
That always bothered me in the HD version that the animation for those springboards was really shitty.
The hamster one is what bothered me the most.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
it's like
we're starting to get somewhere.
In motion. He's not even flopping.
I mean,
that always bothered me in the HD version that the animation for those springboards was really shitty.
It was the most accessible version until it wasn't. But it at least
Oh, really?
gave people an opportunity to get, whet their appetite and then start exploring to the other entries like you have. So,
I mean, it holds an interesting place in the history of the franchise, but it is, at one point in time, it was the most accessible version until it wasn't. But it at least gave people an opportunity to get, whet their appetite and then start exploring to the other entries like you have. So, it served its purpose. It got you started.
At the time when it became a
Yep.
an interest in your life. I just kind of wish there would be an actual.
Well, it was definitely a cash grab when it was being made, and it was sold well by way of nostalgia. I'm just really grateful that it went backward compatible on
first played Sim
Xbox,
3D on Rainway.
so that you actually could play it
Yeah,
at the time when it became an interest in your life.
Really too bad.
I just kind of wish there would be an actual proper
Stardew Valley on my console, just stay in my bed and play with
compilation
my controller. That would be
that would actually have all
yeah.
those games. I mean, whatever.
No, there was a so the app actually like.
Yeah, and you know what? The app stopped working after a while. That was really too bad.
And I was like, well, maybe it's an issue of horsepower. And I was like, I'll load it on my Series X. Well, it officially got removed from the store. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, there was a so the app actually you can't even download it anymore. Which is really too bad. And I was thinking like, well, maybe it's an issue of horsepower. And I was like, I'll load it on my Series X. Well, it officially got removed from the store, and the only place that you can download it through your history is actually through the old Xbox One X. So, and I tried using it again, and the app just doesn't work anymore. So it's that whole period of time, like Rainway as a company itself doesn't exist anymore. They it just didn't work out. I was like, hey, there was that very brief moment where you had this on Xbox and you made my world really exciting for a solid 30 days. Like 2/3 of the stuff on my wish list on God.com were games that were controller compatible that I was going to test out with Rainway. Fortunately, a lot of those games would eventually get native Xbox ports, but
was the same thing, and then
seriously,
the best controller that it worked with was a bootleg PS3 controller.
I mean, it worked natively with a 360 controller, so I really didn't have a problem with it.
At least I was playing it directly on PC at the time.
No, I remember some of the buttons did not work if you had a
360
controller plugged in, so I always had to go with a bootleg PS3 one.
Okay, I'll have to check that again, but
See, I don't remember that being a problem. I remember the triggers working for mine. Well, at least I was playing it directly on PC at the time. Because, like, what the issue is...
Actually, air quotes, C, a controller that has Z-axis support.
Okay, I'll have to check that again. But the thing is that not every game... Well, there's some background tiles. Not actually air quotes C, a controller that has Z-axis support, and what that is the analog triggers. And that's kind of unfortunate that some games don't. Like for instance, Rogue Squadron 3D does, but not Shadows of the Empire. I don't know why. But 2002 Mafia does, and I can actually use a 360 controller on that. Which is crazy that a game in 2002 had support for that, so I could actually drive the cars like cars, with an accelerator and a brake. So, it's interesting.
It crashed.
This was a roller coaster of experiences, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. That was beautiful.
Yes.
I actually like.
Oh, the free. Okay, it ran out. It didn't know what to do.
Well, to studio art next year, I will let that slide for modern.
This was a roller coaster of experiences, wasn't it?
Oh, goodness gracious.
He's like, I'm being serious. This could totally work as like corruption art.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Did you say you had like a place to go to?
Yeah, where are you going?
But
this has been really something else and really special. I'm delighted you invited me to be a part of it.
I'm delighted that you joined.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, Internet. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.